Back again, Freight Fridays, episode 12. We back again. Today we're going to talk about who fucked up trucking, who messed it up, who made this industry so terrible where truckers are upset, and they feel like they're getting screwed. Was it the brokers? Was it the truckers? Was it the companies? Most importantly, was it the trucking gurus?
Mm.
We're going to talk about that in this episode, explosive episode. So we want you guys to tune in and watch the whole thing. We're gonna start it off. We're gonna do some introductions. We have the greatest Malcolm X of trucking, CDL Shorty. He's not letting nobody get by him. You got to be real. He's making people accountable and holding them accountable. The CDL Shorty AB Jackson 28 on the gram and YouTube. CDL Shorty, no TikTok, not touching it. He refuses to. Going on Freight Fridays. Then we got the man. We got the trucking insurance expert.
Hey-o.
Alante, big dog. You see the eagle in the back. Shout him out. Extra Mile Insurance 770-296-3919. If you need insurance for your trucking company. Also, he's sliding into investment side. He's gonna be doing some annuities, some IULs. We're gonna talk about that a little bit too. Yeah, we just got the regular guy, man. I'm just the guy that just puts the glue.
The brand,
man, the myth, the legend.
I put the brand together, man. You know,
the brand.
The Howard Stern of trucking.
Oh, Howard Stern.
Yes.
Trucking.
Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Joe Rogan of trucking.
Jude, if anybody ever heard of that,
you know,
heard of him.
You know, we just the new
the
me.
Joe Rogan of trucking.
It's just me, man.
Ooh, I like that.
What do you say?
The Joe Rogan of trucking.
Joe Rogan of trucking.
I like that.
They saying that, not me. Marcus Lewis, I'm here, man, and yeah, Mr. Marcus Lewis on Instagram, Late Bloomer Trucking Club, make trucking great again. It's all that. But let's dive into this, man. Let's dive into this. We're gonna talk about the first thing that people say who messed up trucking, and we're gonna talk about these foreign truckers. As you see, they're getting exiled, they're getting taken out. Some people like it, some people don't. But them getting taken out, rates going up. So what do you guys think about that? We're gonna start off with the man, CDL Shorty. What do you think?
Oh man. Well, hey, first of all, hey man, I gotta shout out my guys, man. Marcus, Alante, I gotta shout y'all out, man. Hey, none of this would be possible without you guys. So I love you guys. My love, my gratitude, hey, it will always be there for you guys. All right. I just want to let you guys know that. Secondly, on this topic, man, y'all know how I feel about the foreigners. Y'all know how I feel about the English proficiency. You know, I think with that, we really need to have a sit down conversation with the CVSA. You know, why did they deem it possible to vote to take this out? Number one. Then number two, COVID. You know, the COVID drivers. We can't act like we didn't have an influx of COVID drivers out there. You know, that just jumped in this industry and didn't know anything, didn't take the proper protocols, get the proper tools, the proper knowledge. So things of that nature. So I'm kind of torn between those two groups. But they're really cracking down hard on the foreigners. But like I always say, let's start educating ourselves about the industry. Let's start educating ourselves about underride crashes, you know, things of that nature. I think Marcus, you actually came up with a total a few weeks ago of the underride crashes. I think it was what 250 per year or something like that deaths.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we want to talk about public safety from that standpoint, in which they made it sound like they made that point, you know, I thought one death, one fatality is too many. So we can't overglance the 250. Now, of course, if you get a certain group of people out of trucking, of course the rates are going to go up. So, you know, I'm kind of torn, you know, between the two.
What do you think, Alante?
I don't know if illegal truckers are the bigger problem or the biggest problem, is the biggest problem, or is it illegal operations? People who are doing things not by the book, who are calling accidents, who are taking loads, who are, you know, trying to take the shortcuts in the game, ruining the game for the rest of the people. I can't just point the finger at illegal truckers, because I know so many American truckers who will let a friend drive under their DOT that's now on their insurance.
Exactly. That's what we need to talk about too. And then I would also come at it from another standpoint. How much blame do the shippers have in this?
Mhm.
Shippers look for people to take cheap freight.
They do.
Unfortunately, those people just so happen to have a rise of cargo theft.
Hmm.
So is it the shippers? Is it the brokers? Is it the truckers? Like,
The shippers have to eat their own losses because it's their freight.
Mhm.
So, if I'm a shipper and I make a mistake, it's gonna be on me because I got to cover that loss. If I'm a big billionaire company, whatever the
mhm,
loss is. But as a trucker, perspective, are you muddying up the water for other people who are actually trying to get your relationships and do right and have adequate and compliance coverage?
Mhm.
I don't
mhm,
know. I feel like there's more people out here, just in general, people I talk to, people who, you know, have an authority and, get a whole bunch of late notice of their insurance, a whole bunch of fines and hours of service violations and a whole bunch of, accidents and stuff. And then they'll shut the authority down and they'll start a new one. But I do see an illegals doing it as well.
Mhm.
So I don't know, man. It's the uncompliance of trucking not being so clean is really ruining it for everybody.
I like that standpoint. What you think, Marcus?
I think, you know what I'm saying? To make the industry better, you got to start somewhere. I think the biggest thing with the foreign truckers, you got to get them out of here because they are messing up the industry. Is it there? Did they just come over here on their own and start taking it over? No, obviously, I believe those doors are open for them to come take it over. I do believe that the shippers have some behind it. I do believe the brokers have some behind it because they were making money the most. It ruined American trucking jobs, but what you have to do to make the industry better, you have to take that large percentage of drivers out of it to kind of even out the playing field. It just so happens that we have an administration that it lines up with their agenda. Their agenda is to tackle immigration hard and have a strong border. And just the numbers that I looked at is 300,000 drivers that can't speak English. So we can look at it as a legal foreign thing and say, okay, well, that's kind of messed up. We're targeting them. We are, because it's not just a race thing. It's a safety thing. Because a lot of these drivers are causing accidents, and then when they kill people, they can just easily hop on a plane and go back home. So I definitely think that they don't need to be in trucking. I think they need to be in it the right way and go through the proper procedures. But also too, when you're a foreign trucker and you're able to get in the industry so easily, then you're able to take cheaper rates, and then
Hmm.
that's messing up the economy as well for truckers. And the truckers, American trucker, their cost is way higher than a foreign trucker because they're doing things on the cheap. They're willing to take whatever. It's three, four, five of them in a truck. They're always constantly moving. Whereas American, we doing things different. We trying to do it by the law because we're heavily regulated. So I definitely feel like they need to go as far as the foreign truckers and the foreign illegal truckers. They need to go because they were just messing up on the safety side and also on the money side. So ever since they've been out, the money's been up. But now that they're pushing them out, now you're starting to hear that there's a driver shortage. Who's pushing the driver shortage? It's the brokers and the shipper because now they know nobody's moving this freight for free or for cheap.
Of course, of course.
People have to be aware of that. It's like now you're gonna start hearing this message of, oh, it's a driver shortage again. No, we have over like 800,000, 900,000 CDL drivers. So there's no driver shortage. It's a pay issue. You guys don't want to pay.
Can I have some pushback to that, though, Marcus? My pushback is, it's a combination. Still, because that operation in Florida, it was a compliance on paper operation.
Mhm.
I mean, the DLC was good, the insurance was good, but they hired because of their actual operations, how they run a day to day, hiring illegal drivers. That's what. And but didn't he have a CDL?
Yeah, CDL from
Mhm.
California. California. Yeah, CDL from California. He got in
Good old
California
California.
and Washington too. Washington messes up everything. But yeah, I just feel like I said, they go through these things really easy, but you're it's really, yes, it's a safety thing, but it's really a money thing as well,
I
right?
was about to say, is it money over safety or safety over money?
It's definitely if we're looking at it, if you're looking at the brokers and shippers, you messing with their money because they got to spend more on freight because now they got to deal with regulated real trucking companies that's not cutting corners. And then, but you're looking at it on the trucker side, I'm making less money because these I can't compete. But the brokers and shippers are winning. They were winning. But now I feel like now they have to start paying more. And then what it is drivers are getting more educated and they start to understand this stuff and they start to see like we're worth more. So the shippers and the brokers are going to have a problem. They're going to start paying more. But the thing is, though, they sell their products for high prices anyway, claiming that prices went up on shipping and stuff like that. But it really hasn't. They've been paying cheap, so they can afford it. They can afford to pay drivers more. That doing it right. These companies more. So it's really an issue of the foreign drivers. We need to get them out of here to make it fair, so everybody can make money and do it equally. And try to have a level playing field. The playing field wasn't right. There's no way that American companies that do it the right way should be going out of business. When you have companies like this that bring people over that can't speak the legal English and you cheat the system, put them in a truck and they drive for 20 cents a mile. There's no American driver in this country that's going to drive for 20 cents a mile. Somebody from overseas that don't got nothing that came from a third world country, they look at that like it's a gold mine.
Yeah.
So we can't compete with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask y'all this: how y'all feel about foreign brokers?
They need to go too.
Yeah. I think they need to go just from the standpoint, if you're not from here, you shouldn't be able to operate a brokerage in a whole nother nation. That's crazy to me. It's crazy. Tell an American trucker what to do and what loads to get, and you in Saudi Arabia? Come on, bro. We tripping.
Well, the great thing about that is this. It's all about money. All this shit is about money. When we're looking at it, it's all about money, right? So what do you mean by that? If I'm a foreign broker and I'm making money, my money is not getting circulated in the U.S. I'm taking the money from the U.S. and I'm spending it in my own country. See, that's the problem. We want the money that people make. We want it to circulate in America because that's what builds up the economy. But if you're making money off of America and you taking it back home, how are you helping out America? All you're doing is taking. You're a leech, right? So that's what Trump was trying to do. He was trying to basically say like he was trying to do a thing with all the foreign people that was here. You can't send money home. You got to keep it in the country here. You got to circulate the money. You can't because that's what they would do. It making money here, keep a little bit for themselves and send the rest home. Their economy is growing over there overseas, but it's taken from America. So I understand it, but it just happens to be like the way this is it's lined up with this administration. And as American truckers, you got to be excited because you're going to make more money because now you have somebody in there that's trying to get rid of that. It sucks, everything like that. But look, I go back to everybody that people get mad at me on my page. I can't go to your country and make money. I can't go to your country and be a truck driver without going through the roads. So why can you do it here? It's not a racist thing. It's not. I don't like. It's not. I don't like you thing. It's none of that. It's just I can't do that in your country. So why should you be able to do it here? Balance out the playing field. That's all it is.
You know, me being in insurance, I get a lot of these brokers that call me. Well, no, not brokers, dispatchers that are in a whole other country, and they call me talking crazy. I'm like, bro, who y'all talking to?
Right.
Thinking, I mean, they have no respect, and they think, that a lot of these truckers are peons. And you in a whole nother country, you in Bangladesh, you in Pakistan, bro, you in India. Who you talking to, bro? And y'all got these people dispatching y'all? Y'all got them dispatching y'all? They ain't not even here. Who are he talking to? And that's my personal experience. I know other agents can understand what I'm going through. I don't feel like they look at truckers with respect. They just look at y'all like a dollar. A dumb dollar.
Yeah, you're right. Now I got another question for you guys. This might be a little bit off topic, but is carrier 411 and illegal freight guards is ELP proficiency and getting these foreigners out, is that more important than carrier 411 and illegal freight guards that can shut you down?
I would say, yeah, you got to get the truckers out, the illegal trucker first.
Okay.
Because what you have to do, you have to create a smaller pool. See, the foreign truckers don't care about 411 and all of that. Dude, they're gonna hop to another company and they good. See, carrier 411 and freight guard really hurts the American trucker because we going through all the procedures and everything. We trying to set up our company and we're holding these companies. I would say carrier 411. There's another website I found, CDLScan.com. Carrier 411, CDL Scan, and Freight Guard, all those companies are one-sided companies. They're taking information from brokers, and they're not getting an opinion, or they're not giving their due process to the trucking company or the trucker. So that's A lot of those companies, I believe they should have their time in court because they're ruining companies off of hearsay. There's no fact,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing behind it to where like they're going through a due process as if you went, in America, we all talk about due process, right? So where's the due process for things like that? Why do I
Right.
due process? Because your thing can end somebody's career in trucking.
Yes, it can.
That should be held accountable. And I feel like those things should be illegal because a lot of those things are used for hearsay and to blacklist drivers, to blacklist companies. And then what is a person supposed to do? What if that's their only source of income? That's the only thing they know how to do really well. And you don't like the way they talk to you, so you blacklist them. I believe those
Mm-hmm.
Carrier 401, Freight Guard, CDL scan, they should be banned from the industry. They shouldn't be used because it's killing the industry. That's another leech off the industry that's really going against truckers because you're not giving truckers a chance to defend themselves.
Yep.
Nope.
Yo, you want to know what's going on with Highway right now? My man Chip the North, shout out him out in New Jersey. But yo, Highway has taken it so far. You know the Highway verification app. Brokers have gone so far to now you got to take a picture beside your truck with the MC and DOT number behind you and your CDL in hand to make sure that you're American. Now, brokers didn't actually think that this would go this far. So now that's where the trucker narrative coming from as a driver shortage because it's gone this far. And now what it's doing is it's actually not just hurting shippers, but it's actually hurting brokers now as well.
This is a great time to be a trucker because the more and more work the brokers have to do, that's the less work you have to do if you got a direct contract. If you know the shipper directly, this is the easiest time for truckers, owner operators, smaller trucking companies to get a contract. Because what you can say is, you know who I am. I'm moving your freight. It's my company. Where a broker doesn't have that. They're just trying to find somebody. So this is a time if you're a trucker, you should be sitting right now and say, this is the best time for me to get direct freight because the broker's got to do more and more stuff for verification. It's too much for them. That's messing
Mm-hmm.
them up. Whereas before they should just give a load and get on. But now we have high cargo theft. We have the English proficiency. You got to be American. Bro, if you are an American trucker and you got a company, you can win right now. This shit right here is beating the brokers because they got to do more and more stuff to verify. You don't. When I have my contract, bro, they can call me. Hey, Mark, what's going on? I need to know where XYZ is. Boom. So if you're a trucker, if you're an owner operator, small company, this is the time you should be hitting the phones, talking,
Mm.
and you should say, well, why should we hire you? Because you can talk to me and you know that I'm American. You know who I am. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say
Mm-hmm.
in a contract now. It's the easiest time right now for truckers, owner operators to get a contract. It's because of all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Verification, legal drivers, all that. You ain't got to go through that. You know who I am. Call me.
Yeah, and if you're one of those carriers that is doing spot market freight and you're on the low board, you need to start trying to follow those heat waves. Number one, and then number two, this is where your negotiation skills
Yeah.
should really play. You should really be a good negotiator, and I would say continue to fight for broker transparency.
Mhm. Mhm.
I, I want to sprinkle something in about freight garden. I feel like that my major point that I don't like. I think just the level of abuse potential they have. It's a permanent stain, and you got to look at it, bro. Like if you out there, it's a lot of brokers that can leverage. Like say, I'm gonna put this on your freight guard, and they can use that as punishment. Now we're
For
talking about the
sure.
origin and people feeling they got to do this low because they don't want to get a stay on their DOT. You feel
Hmm.
me? That's what I don't like about it, bro. That's what I don't like about it. If and I'm in insurance, and of course, the insurance use it to underwrite policies. We see patterns. We can bring it to the insurance carrier. Say this guy's clean as a whistle, but I don't like it that it can be weaponized. That ain't cool.
Yes,
Definitely
yeah,
right.
that's the part that people are not talking about. It's really used as a weapon.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. When I found out about CDL scan, found that out through the trucking club. We talked about that in our chat. Some guy brought it up talking about CDL scan. I didn't even know what that was until I checked it out. And he said
Hmm.
CDL scan, what they do is especially in Chicago, those Illinois companies, they all know each other anyway, but they put a driver on there just to blacklist him so he don't work for nobody else. Right? That's messed up, bro. Oh, because he don't want to do the work that you want him to do as far as illegal stuff. So you say he's a bad driver and then you tarnish his name and you put it on this website. But the thing is, though, the worst thing about it is the driver only found out because he knew somebody in the company that liked him and told him. So if he
Mm.
didn't know, If he didn't know that, he would never know that you had something on your record. See, like these things with a freight guard, CDL scan, carrier for all these things. If something negative comes up, when does the company know? Is there a
Mm.
group that tells the company like, "Hey, this is coming up. You need to fight this"? There's nothing that's going to help them out to where a person can fight that. So there's no due process. We talk about due process in America. There should be a due process in this. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
bro, you shouldn't do that.
right. They took it away last year. They
Yeah,
took it away. Now it's permanent.
right. And then the owner said, "I don't care about the truckers. I
Sure
don't
Yep,
did.
you people
100%.
like it. I
My
don't care."
he said my customers are the shippers.
Mm-hmm.
And really, his customers is the brokers because the brokers is the one putting the stuff on there. The shippers don't care about that stuff. Like I work with shippers, bro. They don't look at that stuff. It's the brokers. The
Actually, Actually, you want to know what's very funny about that, Marcus? Actually, that report that I did, I made a video on a report that came out from Overdrive about a month ago, a month and a half ago, about broker transparency, and a lot of shippers actually are in favor of it because they want to know who are the fraudulent freight brokers out there too that's keeping more than half of the profit. They want, so it's not just truckers that's for this.
Mhm.
Shippers are actually, not a lot of them. It was, I think it was like 40, 45, 48% or something like that. But they want to know too, like, whoa, what are y'all doing out there to all these carriers that's carrying our freight? Are y'all really out here keeping half of the profit? So shippers want to know too.
Yeah, and they should know. You know, like I said, I work with two big companies when I did it, and I tell you this right now, they would rather work with trucking companies than brokers all day.
Well, that's how it used to be back
All
when
day.
deregulation came into play. That's how it used to be. The first 4 years, that's how it used to be. And if you want to fact check me, guys, anybody that might be watching this, go and check out the first broker transparency case ever. It was Yellow Freight.
Mhm.
Because what was going on is exactly what Marcus said. Yellow Freight was, guess what? They were getting the freight from the shippers and everything, and the brokers was a liaison,
Mhm.
and we were actually keeping the money from the brokers, and then it switched.
Right. Right. So that's what it is, man. It's just the brokers got too much power. And people talk about the brokers, the brokers, the brokers. I get it. But when you attacking something, say everybody said, well, you got to go after the brokers. No, you make everything else around them scarce.
Yes.
So when we get rid of the legal truckers, less drivers for them. Then we have all these cargo thefts, more things they have to do to verify. It's making it easier for them. You can't go after them. You got to take everything else around away from them, gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then once everything is gone, like I tell people, I said brokers work by the market.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like brokers are going there and saying, yeah, we're gonna fuck over the truckers today. They're not saying that. They're looking at the market and they saying, well, we got 10 drivers yesterday that took this freight at $1.75. Why the hell would I give it to you at $3? Because you American.
Yeah.
We don't care,
Yeah.
right? They're looking at the thing. And when I keep telling people, I said, look, if the brokers were really against you in COVID, y'all wouldn't have been making a lot of money.
Right. And it comes from truckers really knowing, like educating ourselves and knowing our cost per mile. Y'all remember last November 2024 when I did that live interview with Trent, the freight broker?
Mhm.
He was basically saying like, yeah, we need to y'all truckers need to start educating ourselves. Y'all can't keep blaming one entity, which is us.
It's
Because
us. It's truckers.
yeah,
Truckers gotta look at themselves.
yes, because it was a guy on YouTube, Brandon the Freight Broker. He actually made a 42% profit margin off of a dumbass trucker that said he picked up the phone and he told the freight broker, "Hey man, I'm just looking for gas money." And dude made a 42% profit off of
Yeah.
making a few phone calls.
Well, 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 CDL, my problem about all of this is that in insurance, we have a federal requirement that we get some continual education, a certification requirement. Federal doesn't require freight brokers to have a license. There's no federal requirement. There's no requirement for it on a state level. So once you get your DOT, you get your BOC3, you get your certi bond, you get all that stuff,
Jesus.
bro, you good. You just own there. There's nobody governing you. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. There's nobody behind your back. Every other business is held to a whole other standard to where we got somebody say, hey, you better do right, you better do right. Why aren't they?
Well, Well, hold on. No, I got some pushback on that because they actually got the TIA. But see, with the TIA for brokers, they have their own little club and they go in and they say, hey, this broker is coming in. Do we want them or not? And they check
That's
them out.
privatized though.
But
That can be,
I was
yeah,
just about to say that it's
yeah.
privatized because it's a lot like me. I can start my own brokerage up next month. And guess
Mhm.
what? I have a choice whether I want to be with the TIA or not. So I think personally, the TIA should become more publicly instead of privatized.
I think just like, when you get a DOT number, you have a vetting period. you know, and people need to, and outside of the DOT number, the federal government need to vet every new broker because they affect the general public. Who knows where they're moving around? Who
Right.
knows what they're brokering? Why aren't we making it a requirement? Just like get your CDL, bro. We big on having a CDL, but they don't got to have a license.
For sure. I'm with you.
But they don't got to have why they can't have a license. We got a license. We
Right.
we went to school. We had to learn. And they're setting the tone in the market. So that's why a lot of people are toned up because there's no formality to coming together of people who has formal training on this. They're just people who get freight and sell it to somebody else for and make a profit.
Well, see, this is why I got mad at a lot of people that I started calling a lot of people out that don't have a CDL because the people that don't have a CDL that are in our industry, they feel like they are better than us. They'll always say, "Oh, I respect what y'all do, but I don't need a CDL." Why? Let's dig down to it. Why don't you need a CDL? Because they think at the end of the day that they're better business men or women than us, and they think we're just dumbass truckers. And it's time to start spinning that narrative and taking our narrative back.
The only way you can take that narrative back is you got to focus on, especially with truckers. We'll talk more about truckers in the future, but knowing your costs, knowing these things,
Mhm.
knowing how much you need to take things, and understanding the market, educating yourself, right? And then when we're talking about the brokers get into the game too easy. So we talk about my big things. I've always been saying is a low barrier entry into our industry at any part. I can become a broker quick. I can become a trucker quick. I can be everything's too quick, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I could be a freight dispatcher. I could be anything. It's quick, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I know a lot of people don't like the government. I know, especially Alante, don't like government involvement. But I think the government needs to step in and start saying, okay, hold on now. We got to start having some better qualifications for people getting in. Because if you have to have a qualification for education, going to course or going to school for 6 months to be a freight broker, you wouldn't have foreign brokers. They shouldn't be brokers.
Yeah,
Could be brokers because they're not licensed. So now you have to using licensing is how you block people out.
yeah,
Yeah.
So if you start doing that, you have way less brokers,
Yeah.
way less people get into the industry because a lot of people get into the industry to make a quick buck.
Yes.
All they care,
hmm
right?
Yeah.
So you have to. That's why we're going to just talk about the government now for as far as messing up the industry. The government has been too lenient, has been too lax in it, haven't been putting people and saying, hey, okay, freight brokers, we need to have more. Now they start to look at training schools, CDL training schools. Big eyes on that now because they seeing that a lot of these CDL schools are scamming, right?
yeah,
The government is finally starting to wake up, but they've been sleeping dormant for quite some time
yeah,
and letting this thing become the wild, wild west. Sean Duffy, the Secretary of DOT, said, when we look into it, basically trucking is the wild, wild west.
Well, they've been sleep. They've been sleep. Not to cut you off, Marcus, but they've been sleeping dormant on it for a long time because that's what we wanted back in 1980.
Yeah.
Like we have to take accountability. We were lobbying and trying to fight for deregulation, and we finally got it. And even because I've been doing my research on this for the past few months, and even a lot of old school truckers now sit there and say, well, we just wanted that at the time. We didn't think 30, 40 years down the line that it would come to this. It's like, no, this is what y'all fought for. This is what y'all wanted. Even when I look and I say exactly what you say all the time, what you just said, Marcus, about, it being an easy industry to get into, man. There's a documentary. Y'all know I love documentaries about the FAA and the airlines and stuff like that. Did you know that and I'm just throwing this out here. I need to do more research. But did you know? I say about a good 85 to 90% of people that are in the FAA in them control towers up there, dispatching planes and stuff. Did y'all know that a lot of them came from the Air Force or some military background in order to get that job? So why is trucking got all these back doors where you don't even have to have a background in anything logistics?
Well, this is the big point the big point I make. Um, my question is why do we get our CDL license through the state?
You want federal?
No, our licenses we get for our license for our CDL is through the state. So
Mm-hmm.
it's California, Georgia, or Georgia, Charlotte. I mean not Charlotte, North Carolina. But when you look at pilots, they get their license from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like we should be state governed. I feel like truckers should be federally governed
I
because
agree.
Also,
when you're federally governed, it's a uniform law. You wouldn't have how California is giving out CDLs, but then Texas is not giving CDLs to these people. You wouldn't have that be uniform. So I feel like
mm.
I'm looking at, I feel like to make trucking better and be more uniform and better for truckers, it needs to be federally regulated. It needs to be taken away from the state.
But
CD,
then,
not regular driving, but CDL driving because FAA pilots they get their license from the federal government.
that would actually reverse course to everything that the ATA has been talking about as far as a driver shortage. Because if you go federal, wouldn't it make it more harder for people to get into this industry?
I don't think it will make it more hard. I think it will make it just more uniform. I think what's going on is when you're driving, you have a CDL, it might be fine in California, but then you go to Texas, you might get in trouble for something else because it's not uniform. Have a
Okay.
uniform system. I believe, if you have it, it's a higher barrier to entry, but then it starts becoming more of a respectable industry, and then you start
Mm,
Mhm.
the right people in it. So then,
mm,
okay, so now we can put people on that's been in the military and stuff like that, which they're trying to do anyway. They're trying to get more people in the military into trucking, right?
mm-hmm.
You can say, okay, you can get your hours and get your training with us, and you can get your federal license, just like they do with pilots, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make this thing federally regulated, and truckers need to start pushing on the government to help them out. But that's what the government is doing now. So now we got a little bit of government involvement, a little bit of attention from the government, and look how things are changing. So
Well,
we
come on. Truckers don't like government hands involved.
you have to
That's
have it.
gonna be.
You have to have it.
I see. See. My thing about that is, I think it's biased because you have a lot of truckers out there that will say, "Oh, I don't want the government involved," but you guys want the government involved when it comes to English proficiency.
You want the government involved if you want to make money.
Yeah.
Make money. You have to look at how can I make money? How can we make trucking like pilots? Pilots on average make $150,000. You can have that in trucking because they're federal. You can be federally regulated. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to understand as a trucker, that's why you got to think outside the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How can we make more money? How can I do this for the rest of my life and really get paid? You got to get it federally regulated, and then you're gonna be winning.
But hold on.
Go
Because
ahead.
I was agreeing with you. Everything you said, I was sitting back and agree with you. I'm like, okay, this sounds good. And I started thinking, I said, you know what? No. I said, because it's always with the government, it's always a slippery slope when the federal government's involved. That's why they leave
So,
like
did I tell you, Marcus? Well, I tell you, Marcus.
it's
He's a
that
conservative trucker.
that's that conservative trucker. I was like, yeah, he didn't even. I said, I'm tripping. No, he don't. Because eventually, I was agreeing, like, yeah, that sounds good. It's going to be respectable. And I said, oh, wait, no, the federal government always fucks things up.
Did they fuck it up for pilots?
I mean, some blame DI
Oh,
Ooh,
on
we
that
need to have a
crash.
pilot
that's
on
what I'm
here. We
saying.
need
Did
to
they
have
fuck it
a
up for
Hold
the
on,
pilot
they
on
pilot?
here.
did.
I
They
talked to a
said
guy that he got a boat license and he does stuff on boat and they're federally regulated and he making 175 a year.
it ain't about the money.
It is
It's
about the
okay.
money.
So
All about the
they,
money. What are you talking about? It is about the money.
hold on. It's also about politics because they were saying that crash that happened in Washington was a woman. She was a DEI hire. That's federal. Because when the federal is involved, they can institute politics in their mandates. Now the next administration they can like illegal immigrants, and then now they're flooding federally illegal immigrants. That's why it's kind of best because with federal level, it's always up to their politics at the time.
Mm.
Each person has a different
I
input
get
with
I get
politics.
that, but that's how you had the sudden influx of illegal immigrant drivers. It was from the Democratic when they were in office. They brought
Yeah,
all these things in
yeah.
there, But then, like I said, you also have to look at you always got to look at the mega carriers. Follow the money. They're paying for these lobbyists to go in there and say, open these doors up because we need more truckers because we want to pay less. Okay. But when you're doing that with the federal, I just feel like when you have federal involvement, because I'm looking at look how successful pilots are. No matter what the
Mm-hmm.
administration is, they're not flooding that because they can't. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a different set of standards, but it's the higher standards. It's so
It ain't the standards, bro. It's how we carry ourselves. I don't think truckers
I do
carried themselves
think
from the beginning.
I do think the pilots went through a pilot shortage a few years ago. Somebody fact check me on that,
it
but
was
I
a
do
pay it
think
was
they
a
had a
pay
pilot
shortage. They didn't want to
shortage a
pay.
while back.
Whenever companies don't want to pay, they say
Oh, okay.
it's a shortage. There's never going to be a shortage of pilots. There's never going to be a shortage of drivers, but there will be a shortage on companies that want to pay a fair wage. So they use driver shortage, a shortage as, oh, well, we ain't got this, we need more of this, because they want to make it more lenient to get people in there to make more money. So that's the thing, bro. I feel like for me, if the federal government gets involved and they get over that, you wouldn't have to have this crash in Florida because the federal government would have been, oh no, he can't get a license. He can't. You see? So I don't like it. It don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Because look what's happening. If you
It's just,
if you don't have the federal government involved, it's the wild wild west.
man, I wish I could agree with that. It's just that the government has never did anything on the federal level that they were consistent with over a period of time that stay good. It's just we don't have that because each time, every 48 years, somebody changed their hands and someone have a different look at the time. And maybe for the next few years, if Trump get a good predecessor, the people next up can be stern on trucking and we can get cleaned up. But if we get a liberal Democrat, it's gonna be Wild Wild West again. And on the federal level, now they got hella power to flood it again.
You know, that's the thing. That's the reason why.
Well, when we talk about that, when you
Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
No, I said
It's on you, baby.
that's what I said in my opinion. That's why I feel like we shouldn't be having a president every 4 years. It should just be like just let them keep going until we get them out.
I agree.
That's how I feel like we can talk a little bit. I feel like democracy is what kills the success and it kills the success in America. It's democracy. We gotta vote. We gotta vote. But then the president got to be there. He can only be there 2 terms, but Congress can be in there forever.
This is a good segue. This is a good segue to our next point. And the question, Marcus was supposed to be next is: did the government fuck up trucking?
That's
and
what
I want to.
Yeah.
Please ask me. Please ask me. I want to answer this one.
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna let y'all take the lead on this.
You said did the government fuck up trucking?
Yeah.
I'm sitting back. I'm loving the debate, by the way. Where my popcorn at?
I would say the minimal government involvement did fuck up trucking. They didn't regulate anything. Like we talk about deregulation. When it was regulated by them, everybody was eating. But when they had deregulation, it became the wild wild west. You was able to do whatever you want, do all this stuff. But I do feel like government needs to be more involved to make it a little more fair for people to succeed. Right.
When it was regulated, you said everybody was eating. Who's everybody?
Well, you said deregulation. Deregulation opened it up, right?
Yeah.
Right. But when regulation when they had regulation, people were able to work and make money.
Oh, but only under certain companies though. Like they didn't, they couldn't go and buy their own truck like we can now.
Okay, yeah. They gotta be kind of be in the middle of that. But I do feel like we need government. If you look at the last, you look at the last like Biden administration, you look at all the administrations before that, even with Trump, it was kind of like, but then this past 4 years, they were flooding it, like you said. It's depending on the agenda of the political party. If they need votes, really, the Democrats flooded the industry because they wanted votes. They got all these people in, and then they try to give them a job and make them look good and get votes. Only way you can legalize somebody is if they're working. So that's the reason why they did that. But it killed the industry, right? But I do feel like if we had more government involvement, the industry will be better.
Well, with the trade agreement, with the USMCA trade agreement, and then with the NAFTA trade agreement that Trump did away with, I think it was back in 2019 or 2016, something like that, 1 year. Y'all can fact check me on that too. But I mean, people that Mac and Volvo, people in Pennsylvania getting hurt by that, so there's a new USMCA trade agreement that's up for renewal in, I think, late July, early July next year. I feel like truckers need to be involved in that, but that is government hands on.
Mm-hmm.
So I blame it. I blame it on one person. I blame it on Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe. Why are you blaming on Joe, man?
Joe single-handedly tipped the needle on ruining trucking for what it is now. We went under the great trucking recession under Joe Biden. We went under where fuel rose 166%, under Joe Biden. And I remember being in it. I remember one of my trucks from Savannah to right in Rock Hill, South Carolina, by Charlotte, and I had a very lucrative contract. And I remember at a certain point that I was making about 1,800 on this contract. And I remember with Joe and as the fuel guy, I just remember, bro, like I was paying $6 a gallon.
Mhm.
And you combine that with fuel price, not with fuel prices. You can combine that with trucking prices. Trucking prices plummeted. So you might have had a truck at a time where you paid 60, 80 grand for it in the pandemic. That motherfucker worth 40 now, or it's worth
So
20.
so let me ask you about this. You do
Single
know
handedly.
you do know and understand that one of the ways government works and policies and stuff like that, they put policies and stuff like this in place, but they don't take effect until 3 or 4 years later when that current president is out of office. So would you say Sleepy Joe or would you say Trump's first term?
Nah. Specifically, when the war in Ukraine and Russia, that's when fuel spiked.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. I
He
agree
got
because
he
yeah.
he got us involved, and even then, you that's why I love Kemp so much. And I know that we're going in Georgia we want a black governor, but I love Kemp because what Kemp did when fuel went up, Kemp eliminated fuel tax in Georgia, so truckers got cheaper insurance and cheaper fuel in Georgia
What was
during that
Stacey
time,
gonna do?
huh?
What was Miss Abrams gonna do?
Still money.
Something liberal.
Doing.
Something liberal.
He like everybody else is doing.
Conservative trucker here, guys. Something liberal.
No, I love it. I love it. We need to
but
continue to
but
have more conversations like this. I love it.
but yeah, man, Joe single handedly ruined trucking. He was a tipping point, bro. And he didn't get no relief. And then mixed with his politics, letting all these people in, illegals having more access to CDLs. Nah, bro. Joe did a lot.
I think, and I agree with you. I think he had probably had one of the biggest impacts on trucking because, like you said, he had the war of UK, the war from the Ukrainian war, right? Then he had a sudden influx of illegal immigrants. Also, too, what he did, he stopped some of the drilling that was happening in our own country so we can get fuel cheaper. He stopped
Yep.
it.
Stop
Mhm.
it.
He stopped all of that. He did a lot of things that hurt the industry, right? Right. Then the interest rates started going up. That was on,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
when Trump was in office, we had some of the lowest interest rates ever. But
Supply chain. It was hard to get parts.
hard to get parts when Sleepy Joe was in. So a lot of things when Sleepy Joe was in there was going up, and that directly affected the truckers.
Who cut the XL pipeline? Was that Obama? I know Trump brought it back, but was that Obama?
I don't know if it was Obama. I'm not 100% sure. He can
Because
check.
I know that hurt trucking too.
Yeah. So with trucking, we all know with trucking, what do we need to have a great thing in trucking, right? As a trucker, you want fuel to be down, you want interest rates to be down as well, and you want to have a lower supply of truckers or trucking companies than the demand of freight. All those things were up when Biden was in office.
Mm.
But that's why we had the great trucking recession.
Yep.
Mhm.
Going into 2022, it still was a strong market, and I'm pretty sure other guys can understand and agree with me. Going into 2022 was a strong market. We came off 2021, which was a peak year, the year after the pandemic, and 2022 approached, and then it was a decline because it's the quarter months, January, February. It didn't pick up in March. It didn't pick up in April. We're like, oh, maybe the summertime. Summertime didn't pick up, and the whole year was stagnant. Like, okay, maybe next year. Every year since then, it's like maybe next year,
Mhm.
but and it all started when fuel went up, bro, and truck prices went down. People and freight got scarce. That combination just destroyed families. People committed suicide because they could not. They had all their money invested in these trucking companies,
Right.
and they couldn't survive.
Right. So
Mhm.
that's what it was. If it was a Republican last year and all this stuff happened, be saying the same thing.
Yep.
It just happened that when he was in office, shit hit the fan. It hit the
Mhm.
fan, and everybody's like, damn, you're kind of just surviving, and especially then you coming from COVID numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going right into this, But what I do like about the Great Freight Recession, what I like about the Great Freight Recession is it got a lot of people out the industry. That's the
It
one.
did that. It did
It got a lot of
that. It
people
did.
that shouldn't have been in the industry. It got them out. And I appreciate that's the one silver lining from the freight recession is it got a lot of people out that shouldn't have been in the industry. They treat the industry like a piggy bank and they ruined it. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah, like I said, because that opened it up for even a lot of Europeans that came over here, or a lot of people from different countries came over here, opened up trucking companies to make money. A lot of
right.
people gone. That's the one
Yeah.
thing you have to have in order to have something new. You have to have a cleanse first. You have to
Yep.
cleanse
Right.
the landscape and say, okay, we're gonna clean this whole landscape, and then we're gonna have the 2026. It's gonna jump, but we're gonna have some things in place to make sure it doesn't get crazy like it is. So I definitely agreed that if it was a Republican that it happened, if it was in Trump, and we say, "Oh man, Trump messed it up," then the numbers don't lie. But
Mm-hmm.
happened that when he was in office, everything hit the fan, bro. Everything hit the fan where everybody's like, "Oh, you know," and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I was in it, heavy. I mean, at the peak of it, I still had 8 trucks at the time. I had people leased onto me, and I remember just having this very little contract I was excited about, engrossing about 9,000, and because after fuel, I was only keeping like 3,500. Fuel was whooping my ass. I was
Mm.
paying like $800 a day in fuel,
Mm-hmm.
and I got multiple trucks. Like it was, I'm like, damn, how can I survive this? But I said, you know what? This is business. This is America. This America. I just gotta endure and figure this shit out. And I did, but I know plenty people, plenty guys from Facebook who had fleets, who they broke up families, wives, because a lot of these guys' identity is tied to trucking. I got all these trucks, you know, and people
Ego.
wild and stuff left, bro.
Ego. Ego.
Ego, bro.
And
Yeah.
Yep.
one thing I want to tell the people is this: it takes longer to fix it than create it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Happened
Mm.
to Biden, that it happened like a whirlwind. It just came. It was up one day and then just crashed.
Mhm.
People
Mm-hmm.
gotta understand it takes a lot to fix this, right? And if people are saying like, with this administration, oh man, he's not doing enough. He my man is fighting so many things on different fronts. I'm just
Yes,
glad
it is.
some of the things that he's doing is for trucking. Because the one thing I didn't like about the Obama, I mean, not Obama, one thing I didn't like about the Biden administration, they did nothing for trucking. Nothing. They didn't come out there and say, we're going to protect the trucker. We're going to try to do this. We're going to try. They didn't do anything.
They gave us Pete Buttigieg. What the fuck is Pete?
And he did nothing. He did nothing. So that's the one thing when no matter what you think, it doesn't matter if you're red or blue. It matters what industry you in, right? So if I was in the medical industry, I'm pumped about being about Biden
Now,
because the medical industry made bank.
yeah. Now, Pete. To be fair, Pete did give the women in trucking a voice. To be fair,
How? What's the voice?
they created the Women of Trucking Roundtable at the White House.
Okay,
That
so
ain't worth a damn,
She trucking.
CDL.
but what
That
did they
ain't
Huh?
nothing but imagery. That ain't worth a damn.
what did that do?
Oh,
What did that do? No, seriously. No, seriously. What did it do? What did that do? What
Hey,
did that do?
I'm just being fair to Pete.
Look,
I'm
look.
just being fair
What
to
did that
Pete.
do? So what is that? This is how effective that is. As a
Mm-hmm.
person that's in the industry that researches this shit every single day.
Mm-hmm.
That was real, what you just said.
Hold on, say that again.
I said, I didn't even know that was real, what you just said.
Oh, okay.
That was a thing. So that
Oh
just,
yeah.
yeah, but
She
what does it do?
trucking was involved in it,
Oh,
and some other
really?
people.
What is it?
That's
Yeah,
dope. That's dope. That's
So what
dope.
is it called? What is it called?
women in trucking.
See,
I think
that
it was
makes
like a.
sense.
I think it was like an advisory board or
I'm gonna
something like
flip this.
that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna flip this. What did the Women in Trucking Advisory Board do for women truckers?
I like that. We're gonna
That's
get a
the
lot of women.
question. I
This is
want to
the
know that.
time
What
where
did they do?
this is the time where I would like to hear a lot from the female trucking standpoint of view, because what this is going to do is this clip, what it's going to do is it's going to separate the women that are just out here shaking ass and whatnot from the women that really want to see change in this industry. So please, if you're a female trucker that's really about this industry, that cares about this industry and wants education, comment down below and
And
let's get this conversation started.
tell me, what did the Women in Trucking Advisory Board
Mm-hmm.
do for women?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hating. I just want to get educated. But
Yeah, no, it's no hate.
what did they do to make
Mm.
it better for women in trucking? Because I have women in our trucking club chat, and they still tell us it sucks for women. So what
Mm.
are they doing? If they have a women advisory board, what are they doing? Also, do they
It's
still have it with the current administration?
Can we get a
right.
men's advisory board?
And it's no, I like that too. And it's no hate. I just,
There's no
I'm a
hate.
person of
Like
fair.
I said, I'm not.
No, I'm gonna hate a little bit.
No, hold on, y'all know I'm a person of fairness, so I just had to be fair to Pete.
I don't like that, bro. I don't
Nothing.
like that.
He didn't do a damn thing. He didn't know it. The truckers, when Pete Buttigieg was in office, he did nothing for the truckers. Gas was high. They let the illegals in. They did. Pete did nothing. That's why the first person they got rid of when the administration came in was Pete. Get the hell up out of here because he didn't do a damn thing.
Hey, how y'all gonna gang up on me? I'm
I ain't
trying to
getting
be
on
fair.
you, but I'm telling you,
Hey,
he didn't do a
female,
damn thing.
fe,
You know
fe,
it. The Women
female
Advisory
truckers.
Board. That's it. It's a board.
Hey,
It's an advisory board. What you advising us on? Nothing.
female truckers, stand up in the comments.
You
Look,
know what?
They
I
You know
they
what
love
it
female
says,
jumping me on
truckers.
Marcus.
I
here.
got a bunch of female truckers in my chat. I love them. I want them to be great. But they still telling me in the chat, man, it sucks for women. I don't feel
Mm,
safe. I don't
They
feel this. I don't feel like I'm getting the great opportunities. I don't feel like I'm
mm.
making enough money. Women say that in my chat. So if we have a women advisory board, which I didn't know we had,
we do,
what are they doing?
bro. Hold on.
Mm.
It says their job is to
Oh,
address
you pulled
mis.
it up.
I got to put up
What?
already.
Tell me what
Ah,
you say what the women advisory board and trucking do.
yeah. What's it
Uh,
say? Educate us, please,
Educate
sir.
me. I want to be educated in this.
it says it's part of a bipartisan infrastructure law. I don't know what the fuck that means. It serves under Biden Harris trucking action plan to address underrepresentation of women in trucking to improve job quality. What the fuck is that about? And it said the board comprised of 16 women across diverse roles, current and former driver, trainers, executive, owner operators, representative for nonprofit. I mean, it's
Everybody
just
getting
word
fired.
salad.
Fire everybody. Fire
It's word
everybody.
salad.
So let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys this. In this whole clip, let me ask you guys this. So are we really gonna sit up here and say that She Trucking or Ottawa hasn't done anything for the trucking
They
for the women
have.
in
We're not
trucking?
saying that, but I just want to know where the fuck is my man's trucking advisory board that I want to go there. I want to be a
I'm
part
gonna say
of.
this. I'm talking from a person that's not educated in this.
Mm-hmm.
What did they do? That's all I want to know. What's one
Mm-hmm.
thing that y'all did for women that y'all can hang your hat on? Like, hey,
That's when women need to start
that's the one thing
commenting
I
down
want to know.
below.
What's the one thing that they can hang their hat on and said, we got this advisory board and we did this, we did this, we did this. See, a lot of these advisory boards, and like I'm saying, well, I think that's why people relate to us because we are talking about the trucker,
Mm-hmm.
trying to be in those groups and shaking hands and kissing babies. We
Mm-hmm.
trucker what they need to do. I'm not saying that they're doing that, but I'm just saying, what did they do?
This is
It don't
this.
even have a clear answer on
There's no clear
ChatGPT.
answer. He just read the answer. There's no
Yeah,
clear answer on what they did. So when we have these groups, what did they do for women truck? Because I said I'm speaking from a person that has a private chat, and I got women in there, and they say it sucks for women in trucking today.
yep,
Well, this is when female truckers need to stand up and comment down below so we can keep this conversation moving forward. Because we all know we have groups out there like a She Trucking, which I give her a lot of
Okay,
respect. We have
for
groups out there
sure.
like Ottawa, but like you're saying, they need to chime in and say, what do they actually do? What does this organization actually do for women in trucking?
what
And
I'm
this is going to continue to push the conversation forward.
when you have these organizations, in my opinion, if I had an organization for whatever, like I said, I don't know. So this is why I want to be educated on this, and this is why it'd be great to have a guest talking about
For sure, for
what
sure.
you do because if women are still saying it sucks for them in trucking, is what you doing really helping women?
Mm,
You know, just like how we talk about in California, we got a homeless problem. We got all these organizations talking about they want to stop the homeless. They get billions and millions of dollars, but we still have homeless.
yeah.
Yep.
What are you doing? And I'm not saying that these organizations do that, but they do get money. They do get money now. They do get some funding. Let's not be stupid. So what are you doing with the money to really help out the group that you're saying you helping?
Well, that goes with Black Lives Matter. You know, what did they really do? When you look
And
back at it for
and
5, 6 years from now, when you look back at it, what did they really do? We found out a lot of them was pocketing the money, buying mansions and shit, got a
and
book deal. But
and
is the black people in America better off today than we were when they first came into play?
nope, not at all.
I mean, if you look at it now, this current administration is rolling back DEI at a tremendous pace.
Because the women trucking board. See people like that. You know, this is this
Oh,
is
but
this
this is what I'm
is
gonna say. This. I'm gonna say this. If you're rolling back DEI, why are they rolling back? Because the program they had didn't work.
Mm,
If it worked, we wouldn't roll it back.
Mhm.
Like
mm.
how they get mad about Target. Everybody say boycott Target. I know that's big down in Georgia. You got the pastor down there, right? I know this is off
Mhm.
subject. We're gonna get back on
Oh
subject.
man.
I'm in my shit right now.
Man, he ain't nobody. He trying to be the next Martin Luther
But this is
King.
what
Ain't
I'm saying.
Thank you.
nobody
He ain't
listening to
nobody.
him.
He ain't
Ain't
Exactly.
nobody.
nobody
I feel like he's
listening
a
to him.
fraud. I feel like he's a fraud, but let me shut up. But anyway,
Yeah.
we talk about they get mad at Target. Well, Target took away all the black brands, DEI. They turned the shit back. I come to say this. Target said, well, we took the shit off because it didn't sell.
Mm.
It's not like your shit was selling.
Well,
If your shit was selling, we'll keep it on the thing. Only reason why we had it in there was because of the DEI. They gave you a chance. But then the thing is about black people. I hate to get on black people because we gonna talk about some other shit. But if you know the shit is on the stands, go buy and support it. So the question I have to the pastor is: did you buy their stuff? Did you support their stuff? Did you push it out? Did you help them? No. So they rolled it back and threw it off the shelves because it wasn't selling.
well, hold on. Let me push back on that. We could say the same thing for Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel showed their numbers from previous when they had the old logo to when they had the new logo. The old logo was not selling. Them white folks went fucking with Cracker Barrel. Them numbers was low. That's why they wanted to come in and revamp it. Then when they revamped it, then everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we really not fucking with y'all now." And the numbers went really, really low. Then when they brought it back, the numbers started to spike. But hey, white people weren't fucking with Cracker Barrel either, and it's in the numbers. It's in so with them rolling back DEI, is it a form of racism? And white folks at the end of the day always get what they want. Like,
I mean, I think DEI really affect women the most. I feel like I look at it, and then I'm looking at like on the manosphere, people reactions, and I feel like this is the um women
WNBA.
the Women's Investory Board of Trucking, whatever it's called, the
Oh,
Women of Trucking Advisory Board. It's just the same concept of DEI.
are
You
they
know, they
still? Does this show you? Are they still in effect to this day under this current administration?
I'm gonna look into that, but I know they are part of a $1 billion package that Biden passed. So FMCSA got 1 billion, and they did shit like this.
Hmm.
I don't know
Okay.
how much they got. We don't know
Are you
because the money was supposed for them to go to for child care support, for CDL training. Who the fuck needs that?
I will say this: I don't see anything. Okay, if it's a women advisory board, I don't see anything advertising on how to keep women safe in trucking. I don't see women
That's what it's
truckers.
supposed to be, but
I
I
don't
don't see it
see.
either.
Look, I don't see the government. I don't see these mega carriers. In the orientation packets, giving women free what's it called, pepper spray.
see?
Trump they got rid of them. The FMCSA.
Got rid of what,
Uh,
pepper spray?
no, no, no.
Women
The
advisory.
board, the FMCSA, then submitted. It says on December 2023 they submitted a detailed recommendation to the FMCSA. Yada yada yada. On 2015-2025, they were required to submit something to the FMCSA, a detailed report of their agendas and findings. And it said they've been officially terminated. This is gonna be word salad. They was officially terminated on January this year. I think they
Mm,
knew Trump was coming in office and he was coming with a new wave.
mm,
All right, well,
damn.
let's take a pause real quick and go over this trucking report, so we can all calm down because it's getting hot in here.
Yeah.
We'll go over this real quick. Diesel price per gallon right now is $3.71 per gallon.
Mm,
And get California, but I'm pretty sure California is probably $5 a gallon. So don't go to California and get your diesel. Also, I did a report talking about Oregon. Oregon is going to start taxing on an extra 6 cents per gallon taxes.
Damn.
So don't get your gas in Oregon or California because they're trying to run it up. Uh, van
Damn.
dry van market right now is $2.04 per mile. Went down a little bit, 3 cents. Load to truck ratio in van is $5.72. $5. The load to truck ratio for dry van is 5.72 trucks per load. So solid. Okay. Flatbed is 20.59 trucks per load. Okay. And then it's flatbed rate is $2.49 per mile. Refrigerated is for load to truck ratio is 10.46 trucks per load. And then refrigerated is also $2.40 per mile. So
Mm,
that's where we at with the trucking report. Back to the scheduled program. We're getting off of government. Let's
mm.
talk about the truckers. How do they mess up the trucking industry? What did they do wrong? Let's get into that a little bit. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Alante. I'll let you take lead on that one.
Um, as I put emphasis on earlier, I think that a lot of these guys are, with poor regard to the law, poor regard to compliance. I mean, you get into a situation where you got to make the money and you putting compliance on the back end, and that just dangerous for everybody. You could do that once in a while. You can do it. You can have it in your back pocket, but when it becomes a way of life, we walk on the edge of destruction. So I see a lot of guys who, you know, don't take the regard for like just basic shit like pre-tripping. Don't take regard for basic shit like making sure their trucks have the adequate thread on the tires. It's like the bare minimum ain't even cutting nowadays. So once you start cutting that many corners, eventually lead to a situation where you get into an accident or where you got to make the money, and then you can make decisions that can ruin it for the rest of the industry.
I agree with that. Everything that you said, I agree with that. And I think that's why I have a problem so much with people that sell courses that talk about they're in trucking or a part of trucking, but they're not even explaining and giving basic knowledge. Like there's a lot of truckers out there from COVID that took these courses and blah blah blah, but they don't even know what an open shoulder or a closed shoulder tire is. They don't even know the tread depth of a tire. And I'm like, how do y'all not? That's the basics of trucking. They don't know what 16 ply means, what 14 ply. They don't know how to tell the manufacturer date on a steer tire or a drive tire. You know, even box trucks, they don't even know what a hub seal is. They don't even know you got to put oil in a hub seal.
Hmm.
So I wholeheartedly agree with you 100%.
Well, I feel like I agree with both of you guys. When we talk about these crashes and everything, when we talk about all these crashes and everything, it's not just we can't keep pointing a finger at illegal truckers, right? A lot of
Right.
crashes has been American truckers as well.
Correct.
Okay, because you're being negligent in how you handling these trucks and learning about these trucks that you don't know a thing how to
Yes.
secure these trucks. So we can definitely say that when we talking about truckers, we're talking about American truckers because
Yes.
there's some American truckers that's not doing it right. Okay. Also, too, I'm a big push of learning before you earn. Okay. Learn the business. Learn your numbers. The reason why rates went down, yes, it's because we got foreign truckers, but also too, you don't know your numbers, so you taking anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into the negligence of you not learning about your industry. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a blame on the truckers. But one thing is we're in support of truckers, but we want to keep it real with truckers. You,
That's right.
you gotta turn the mirror to yourself and look at yourself and say, what am I doing? Before you blame anybody as a trucker, are you looking at what you did wrong? Are you analyzing your business first, or are you automatically saying it's somebody else? Are you saying it's the foreign trucker's fault, it's the broker's fault, it's the shipper's fault? Or are you looking at yourself and say, I don't even know my cost per mile. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even know how much my profits is going to be. I just know I'm getting money coming in, and I'm just.
Yes.
Are you doing that? And that's the big thing I've been doing on my comments and talking to people. What's your CPM? It's the broker's fault. I asked you. I did what CDL used to do. What's your CPM? Oh, that don't mean nothing. It means a lot. It means a lot. If you don't know your numbers, how do you know what to get? How do you know what is a bad rate?
Are they even driving down the road with a P&L sheet on them?
Exactly. So the truckers got a good amount of blame in this because you're not focusing on your business. I feel like this 90% of owner operators shouldn't be owner operators. You should just drive for a company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of people that became owner operators, American, became owner operators. They don't know a shit about their business, and you taking cheap rates.
You know why? You know why? First of all, if you're an investor, are they even keeping an ROI on them? Return of investment on them. Number one. Then number two, when I say trucking gurus, I'm talking about all the gurus. And all of them made it so sexy, made it look good to be your own boss. And then if somebody wants to drive for a company, they shame you for being a company driver. And that was one of the things
Mhm,
that would cause a major issue with people going out there, don't know how to do good business,
mhm.
and messed up the game for truckers out here.
100%.
They shame you. They shame you for being a worker.
One of
Yeah,
the
Not everybody's meant to be a boss. Not
yeah,
everybody's meant to be a worker.
right.
But
yeah.
if you come out and say, "Hey, I want to be a company driver," oh, you just a working ass nigga. You ain't nothing. Like, no, that's not right and that's not fair. And that
I
is
agree.
one of the reasons why we're in the situation we're in now.
I
They
agree.
they shame those people. They shame. What's wrong with being a company driver? Okay, you
That's,
talking about forced dispatch? Yeah, we all hate forced dispatch. But guess what? You got benefits. You got a 401k.
you don't have as
So
much risk. I don't, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. And one thing my wife and people outside of me say, "Boy, you humble as hell." I'm not gonna look down. First of all, there's some people with jobs that are way more stable than entrepreneurs. If you're an
yes.
entrepreneur, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You should be up, down, left, right. And with people like my brother, he has a really good entrepreneur job. I mean, sorry, trucking job where
Mm-hmm.
he's a manager at a trucking company, really, really well. And I think about him when we having this conversation because I look at him like I'm proud of him. I'm happy
Mm-hmm.
for him. And we have other people of our family members that's on, not, and friends that's on that job. But nah, I don't look at that. I don't look at people in that manner, because they have a job. But I will say this: two things can be true. The beauty of having a truck is being free and being your own boss. That's the beauty of it.
Of
You
course,
know,
I'm not saying nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
beauty of it. But what about when you make it look sexy to someone to be their own boss and everything, and they take all the shortcuts. They do what you told them to do. Now they failed 2 years later. Now they got to go back to being a company driver, and you shamed them for that.
Mhm.
You can't do that, bro. You
But
can't do
that's
that
what they
because
doing.
everybody got a
That's
business.
what they doing. That's what they doing. Do you know how many conversations I've had with people I've called out that say, "Oh, you just a worker. You just," not knowing that, hey, I might have my own truck. I might not. I might be my own boss. I might not. You don't know because I don't let y'all into my world. But they'll say, "Oh, you just a worker. You got a worker mindset." Blah blah blah. As if that's a bad thing.
Right.
Sometimes you need workers in life.
Right. Go ahead,
And this is
Marcus.
why I say they got a lot of blood on their hands because it's a lot of failed trucking companies out there off of their advice. And then they shamed him. Oh, you just don't know how to do it right. You didn't have the right blueprint. Motherfucker, I got it from you. No, for real. And I'm saying this because I have people that call me, text me, email me, go to my YouTube, and you see their comments and be like, "Yeah, I bought this course from that person." Now I do hold them accountable because whoever you bought the course from didn't put a gun to your head. But what they did was they made it look so sexy that you had to have a piece of it. It was so enticing, you had to have a piece of it.
Mm,
And you paid that person your last.
mm. We're gonna get into them. That's gonna be the end. What I
I just
will
had to throw that out there. That's all.
I love the passion Malcolm X. Get him an X hat. But this is what I say. My big push I've been doing. I'm always going against the grain, and I love it. And I think people, gravitate because I have a different um, I have a different mind frame towards anything. I look at things differently. I don't jump in the herd. Okay,
Mhm.
jump in the herd and want to say, "Oh, it's a broker's fault." But the one thing I've been telling people is this: there ain't nothing wrong being a company driver.
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with being a company driver with the right company.
Mhm.
But I want to make this much money. When you want to be work with a good company, you have to work there and build it up.
Mm-hmm.
Show them why you're valuable. You're not going to get that 85, 90 cents per mile from the jump. I've talked to truckers that are making that right now with companies, but they've been with the company for 5, 10 years. So there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with being a company driver. But what it is, truckers are impatient. Your impatience is what's making you broke because you want to run and get the money, but you think being an owner operator is going what's going to get you the money. But you can't even run your own. You can't even be a good company driver. So what makes you think you'll be a good owner operator?
Yeah, well, I say impatience, number one, and number two, some of these companies are taking advantage of drivers. So I will say that.
Yeah, then that's going to be our next one. We'll talk about the trucking companies in our next point. But I just feel
Gotcha.
like with truckers, I feel like you have to not be impatient. This is not a get rich quick scheme. That's why we talk about the gurus. So we're going to talk about that too. But you have to get into this and think about this as a 20-year, if you want to do this as a 20-year. But there are trucking companies out there where people making a lot of money. There's Walmart. If you get in with Walmart,
Oh yeah, they're the best.
150, bro. Well, so what does that mean though? You gotta work for companies, have a good safer score, do everything right. Walmart is the pinnacle of trucking. You should be like, I
Yeah,
want to work for Walmart. I want to work for Estes. I want to work for these companies that I know gonna pay. But what do you
for
have to do?
sure.
You got to be responsible. You got to be
Yeah,
a good worker. You got to get that because there are jobs out there that you can get as a trucker and get a pension and everything and work for these companies for 20, 30 years and make a lot of money. But it's up to you to do it the right way because your foundation is what's going to determine how far you go.
yes,
Nothing wrong being a company driver. I've been telling people, most of y'all, like I said, 90% of owner operators shouldn't be owner operators. You should
exactly.
be working for a company.
Exactly. And Walmart is the pinnacle because I think you got to have 5 or 7 years of experience under your belt,
Exactly.
accident free or something like that. Y'all fact check me in the comments. But yeah, Walmart is the pinnacle and
Walmart is the
benefits
pinnacle.
is great.
Estes is a pinnacle. Estes, everybody I know work for Estes out here making bank, and they doing deliveries, right?
Hmm.
So there's situations out there that you can get on, but what you have to understand is it takes time.
Yes.
You're not gonna get these jobs in your first year. No, you a risk. That's why you said Walmart. If it's 5 or 7 years, that makes sense. Can you do this job good over a span of time to where we can hire you and you set for life? You can work with UPS and be a driver with them.
Yes.
What are UPS drivers making? They probably up there with Walmart.
They are.
See what I'm saying? So there's opportunities out there, but you gotta grind and put your time in before you get there. That's the problem with truckers. They don't want to wait. They want to jump in and make money. That's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also with that is, like I say, and me and you, Marcus, we've debated on this a lot. But what happens if I got 5 to 7 years in? And then I have a heart attack and I got to take 2 or 3 years off. Now the insurance company makes me start from the bottom.
Mhm.
I don't think that's fair. And I think that's something that needs to be changed within trucking. It's happened to not just me, but it's happened to a bunch of other truckers. It's happened to the YouTuber, what's her name? Lady Luck. I've had an interview with her and she had to start from the bottom. So when is the industry and the insurance industry in trucking going to start being fair to the veteran drivers?
Right. True. They should
Yeah.
be more respected. It should be more respect. It should be, but once again, we talk about the federal government
Yes.
to make stuff like that happen. Federal
Yes.
government can make that happen. They can put that as a rule. They can do it.
Mm.
Federal
Mm.
government can do more than the states.
The federal government can't squeeze insurance. Insurance squeezes the federal
Not
government.
squeezing insurance, but making it to where if you got a certain amount of years, that's respected. It's like time and service. They do that in the
Mhm.
military. Time
Yeah.
and service. So should there be
Right.
time and service law and trucking? Because yeah, it's just because you drove for five or
Well,
7 years and you got a heart attack, you still have 5 to 7 years of time of service.
Correct.
the
Now, then, not make me start from the bottom.
the way this is developed is
Mhm.
that they underwrite it. They take a group of people, they look at the number, they say, okay, this group of people who's been out of the industry this a certain amount of time, you know, I this is my belief. They said, okay, these people are more prone to accidents, and therefore we have to treat them different. People who consistently drives.
Mhm.
That's how it's formulated. It isn't just bias. I know it may seem like that, but there's numbers behind it where they try to
Yeah,
predict crashes. So
yeah.
if you've been in the industry for a certain while, I'm sorry, CDL, they're going to think you're more liable.
Well, those people that's trying to predict crashes, they're not doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, I mean, their interest is to protect the bottom line.
Because if
I
they
understand, but when it comes to crashes,
if they predict the crash, they'd be like, we ain't gonna let these foreigners in.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
yeah.
right.
Because the
Yeah.
data
That's right.
shows the data they just had a guy in California go off the ramp in a hot shot, truck going down, trailer this way, truck going down. The guy went over there trying to speak to him, knew no English.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
Gotta
so
love California.
these people trying to predict crashes, they're not doing a very good
doing a
job.
terrible job. Terrible job. Terrible job. But let's get into okay, so now let's talk about the trucking companies. How have the trucking companies messed up the trucking industry? What do you guys think?
Well, for me, I think the trucking companies have messed up the trucking industry by hiring cheap labor.
Mm,
Hiring cheap labor as far as an American driver not getting their just due or their fair pay. And then going as far as not talking to the American trucker, but just putting current laws and emissions in places. And Snyder has not driverless. Snyder has mirrorless trucks now. How do you guys feel about that? There is no mirrors on these trucks. They have huge tablets, which are like cameras, where the mirror should be on the inside of the cab. They have that on the inside of the cab now. Do y'all think that's safe? It's actually taken away one of the things that we used to teach. And we used to say to tailgaters, if a truck can't see your mirror, or if you can't see a truck's mirrors, then guess what? The truck can't see you.
And that's a good
Well,
point.
they've taken that away. They've
mm,
taken that away. Number two, Volvo has went so far to take off the old school traditional horn from the air horn. When you see kids do this and you blow the horn, they
Yeah.
put the damn air horn on the steering wheel. Now you act like a car and you gotta beep it like a car.
I seen
That's
that
taking
too.
away traditional trucking.
mm.
I seen that too. I also seen that you know, I also seen that the mirror thing. And my thing about it is you're right. In trucking school, they always say, "Hey, check your mirrors, check your mirrors. Always check your mirrors." You're supposed to be just driving, check your mirrors, just regardless. You feel me? Just out of the blue, I'm driving along, hey, just check them. I always check the mirrors. So if you just got cameras or you got these tablets, that's kind of weird.
It is weird, but that's the way it's going. That's the future nowadays.
I definitely
And I would really like to see what the statistics. I really want to see, is it cutting down on accidents? What is it doing? What are the investors saying? What are people that's making this saying? What are truckers saying?
what I would say as far as the trucking companies hiring cheap labor, I agree with that. There's a lot of when we talk about trucking companies, we talk about how owner operated. There's a lot of people that shouldn't have trucking companies either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you want to hire the cheap labor, you're neglecting safety. You're not taking care of your trucks, not taking care of your trailers. A lot of these trucking companies are held accountable for messing up the industry too, because that's what all of those things create what? Accidents, and that raises what? Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these trucking companies have been negligent, big and small,
Yeah.
right? But I definitely feel like hiring cheap labor and hiring labor that shouldn't be here, but you just exploiting them so you can make more money, that definitely killed the industry. I think that's one of the biggest things that these companies did was using that because they're making more money, but they're costing people's lives. And that's what's tearing. That's I feel like that's how the trucking companies contributed to this is that right there. You guys
Mm-hmm.
are so concerned in making a buck, but you're neglecting safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. I'm gonna try to get the cheapest labor. I'm not gonna worry about my equipment and just have these things on the road. But the thing they don't understand is they can kill millions and millions of people with these trucks.
Mm-hmm.
All are focused on the dollar. So I definitely that's how I feel that trucking companies really contributed to the downfall of trucking.
Yeah. Now they say there's a lot more owner operators and small trucking companies out there than mega carriers.
Yeah, sure.
But why do you think that is? It's because mega carriers aren't treating the regular driver right. So now the mindset, even with the lease purchase, you talk to people that do lease purchase nowadays, they ain't planning on buying them trucks. What they planning on doing is using it as a stepping stone to save their money, to branch off and buy their own truck and start their own company, which
They
I
should.
personally think is more dangerous because if I only got 2 years in the game, I saved enough money to go buy my own truck, buy my own MC and DOT number, but I only got 2 years in the game. Now I got my own trucking company. That's a little bit dangerous, don't you think?
I feel like there should be a requirement before you have a trucking company. I know Alante ain't gonna like this, but I think you should have a certain amount of years driving, and then also you got to have some type of education before you become an owner operator. Because
And I agree.
lot of owner operators get into the game, they don't know nothing. You're chasing money, and then you're the one bringing down the rates.
I agree.
Because, like you said, you so impatient. You don't want to learn. You think that being an owner operator is going to bail you out, make you more money. In return, it doesn't, and then you're affecting the industry by taking cheap rates. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah, because the IFCA comes out quarterly. So now you like, damn, I just paid my IFCA, I just paid fuel.
I'll tell you this
Damn,
right,
I need to make some
right,
money.
it's right here. Some people DM me and say, "Oh, what is IFTA?
Oh, you hold on, time out. Are you serious?
IFTA? How do I calculate my IFTA? How do I what is it? Is when is it? I get questions like that, bro. And these are people that got companies.
And are they American?
What do you think? I don't get nobody else hitting me up.
And that goes to show you why it's half foreign drivers that's fucked it up and half American.
Yeah. So that's
I don't think that, you need to go to school or be in business. I think it's a scarcity mindset of this. It's a business perspective because I consider myself some sort of a business philosopher. You'll have an old driver in there, and he's taking bad rates too. Because in his day, those were good rates, and his overhead's still low, and he doesn't negotiate. He's just cheap. He's just cheap. Well, you might get a new guy in there who knows how to negotiate and it still operates efficiently, and he can make a profit. So
But but look, the old veteran driver might be taking bad rates because that's what's dictated around him. I can't say, oh, I've been trucking for 20 years. I got a good CSA score. I'm only taking this load for $4 a mile. When you have a new driver that call the broker and say, man, I'll take it for two.
all new
That
drivers don't
old
do
truck,
that. I
huh?
wasn't like that. I was not
Huh?
like that. I
But I'm
was.
just I'm just saying that's
there's
what's
some
going
people out
on.
there that was like that.
That's what's going on now, though. So now the veteran driver that's trying to stick to his guns can't because now he's placed in a wall. His back is on the wall because are you going to sit there and hold tight to $4 a mile, or are you going to play the game?
It's some veteran drivers that be in a position to where they got to do what they got to do to survive too.
I tell you what. When I first started out my YouTube, I ran into this old school driver. Had a nice blue, pretty Peterbilt. Pretty Peterbilt. It was blue. He did nurseries, flowers and stuff like that. I went up, asked him for an interview, got an interview with him. He told me after the interview, I wish I would have got this on tape, but I didn't. But he told me after the interview, he said, we was talking about brokers and stuff like that in the relationships. He said he'd been dealing with this broker for the last 3 years, never had a late delivery or anything like that. The broker switched up on him and got somebody new, right? Now he does nurseries, he does flowers. So these flowers have to be here at a certain time. The broker switched up, got somebody new. The driver was 2 days late with the flowers, and some of the flowers became wilted. The broker went back to that truck driver and said, "You know what? You never failed me." And the truck driver said, "Yeah, I've never failed you. I've always made it on time or early. Why would you do that?" Now, guess what? Now him and that broker, they do all the business together, but it actually opened up the door for him to negotiate a higher price. You see what happened when you went with somebody new? You better
I'm I'm
stick with the old.
I'm agree.
What
I
they
agree
what,
with
what
you.
they say in marriage is cheaper to keep.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I feel like a lot of people nowadays, um, older, new. I mean, old people who've been in the industry 30 years and still don't know any better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. I agree with that too.
I mean, they
Yeah,
they
go ahead.
get they run the DOTs and start new DOTs just like a new person.
I feel like if you're in the game that long, you depending on a broker, you're still doing it wrong. I feel
No,
like
he had a direct comp. Well,
yeah,
I can't say that. Never mind. Scratch that. I
Yeah,
can't say that.
that's what I
yeah.
feel. If you if the play is to if you're gonna be in the industry that long, get with a shipper, especially if you got your own company. That's the play.
Hmm.
People get mad about the rates. We talk about the rates, like $2.49, $2.40. But I talk to drivers that's getting $5, $6 a mile
Mm.
now because they working with the shipper directly. So when I tell people that that's not true, I know we can do a live with them right now. These guys
They pulling out them break cons.
they're getting $5, $6, $7 a mile. So
Okay,
money is out there. Why? It's because they're working with shippers.
I
They're not,
commend them for that.
they're not depending on brokers. That's just like me. I said I didn't start working with brokers to the end of my career. In the beginning, I didn't work with brokers because I couldn't. Because you got to
Yeah,
wait 6 months. The brokers wasn't touching you. And I tell every owner operator, I said that's a blessing that you don't have to work with the brokers in your first 6 months. How? I need to make money. You can build relationships with shippers. and you'll
Yes.
never need to work with a broker.
Yep. Go find that logistics coordinator.
Exactly. I said the system's actually rigged for you to win. What do you mean? Because your first 6 months you can't work with a broker. So what you got to do? Talk to shippers, get direct freight. Now I can get direct freight, and I don't need a broker no more. How? What do you mean? Because that's what I did. I
Get
just
that trailer. Get that trailer pull too. Go get your free
exactly. I said
trailers.
so. I said so. You don't have to work with a broker. I said you guys are so programmed broker, 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 broker. But when you start your career, you can't have the broker.
Yeah.
Bro, they don't. It's first of all, before it even broken, bro, they got dispatchers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against dispatchers because I got a lot of people that dispatch my clients, and their motherfuckers are wonderful.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's booming with them. Yeah.
Them motherfuckers are great, but there's so many drivers who have dispatchers that don't that when you have a dispatcher, there's a bridge, a barrier between your relationship with you and a broker, or hell, you and a shipper. But you go there every day. You go to you physically go there every day. You see people in the net in there in the dock. You talk to them. You ask how their kids doing. You go there every day, but it's a broker who got your contract.
Hmm.
That's something. That's a deep. That's what do you? Why you ain't?
You making a broker look good instead of you making yourself look good.
You go there every
Hmm.
day. They see you. They let you in. You ask how their family doing, but you ain't got a contract. Come on, man.
Hmm. Hmm.
I ain't moved like that.
That's what I'm saying.
If
Because they so dependent on the broker. Don't be dependent on the broker, bro. You got
Sure
a
enough.
company. Your job, your number one goal is shipper. Work with the shipper. Work with the shipper. Work with the shipper. You're gonna make more money. You're gonna build that relationship, and they're gonna know who you are. That's how you
Sure
do it.
enough.
Uh, before we get into the main the ending, also I want to talk about what else affect trucking industry is technology.
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel
it's a
like
good one too.
technology has ruined the trucking industry. We got too many things, technology things in the industry that has ruined trucking. ELDs ruined trucking. Like you said, mirrorless. Now we have mirrorless things. That's technology.
Well, hey, ELDs is thanks to Obama. Obama mandated that shit.
What color hat he wearing? He ain't wearing the ones we wearing. But anyway, so we
Okay.
keep going. Uh, uh, he but technology. I really feel that technology has killed the industry because what technology does is bring people that know nothing about trucking into trucking.
Oh, I said that for years, man. If you ask a driver about these new trucks,
Mhm.
man, these new trucks will stress you out more than the actual driving job. They got all the bells and whistles, all this anti-brake system, this Bendix system to keep your distance from cars. And if it beeps over a certain amount of time, you get in trouble and blah. Man, it drives you nuts.
Does nothing. It does nothing. This technology has made trucking more difficult, but what they use technology, they say, oh, it's going to make it more safe, but it actually makes it less safe because why? Who's getting stressed out?
The driver. I like that point. I like that point. You should clip this too.
Yeah, who controls the vehicle? The driver. Why? Because he's so stressed out about the ELD, the Bendix system that stops your truck. It could be a fly that goes in front of your truck. Your truck just slamming.
That's right. Yep.
Know what I'm saying? Sensors on the truck for your engine. EPA's get working on getting rid of those, but all these technology things, the tracking apps, you gotta if you do work with a broker, you got 1,000 tracking apps. You got
Stressed out.
highway that you got to get verified. You got all these technological things, autonomous trucks. That's a whole nother thing people try to get on.
Hmm.
These things have ruined trucking. When technology really got into trucking, trucking went to the shithole because these people that are driving these trucks are not with all that. They just want
Nope.
bro. When everything was mechanical, that's when
Mhm.
great.
You know one thing that they haven't revamped. They haven't revamped the CB radio. We got to start by using the CB.
Yeah.
That's when. Go
No, go
ahead,
ahead. Go
Sid.
ahead. Go ahead. Go
That's
ahead.
when everybody was more together, and it feel like if the culture revamped CB radios and we all are on them like we supposed to be, we can avoid a lot of crashes. You can help people out. You can talk to people instead of it being a platform for racism and bigotry. And get on there and being country and redneck. We can actually utilize it for like meeting people and talking. And it's like it used to be like a chat room, bro.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the reason why the CB radios stopped was because of the racial slurs. People stopped using CB radios because there was a large amount of racial slurs on there. People weren't really being productive. They were using it to talk about people. So people just turned them off because it wasn't doing anything. It was adding to the stress of the driver. That's the reason
Yeah.
CB radios.
Yeah. Yeah, man, there are. I'm gonna find out who these companies are, or Alante, you can find out too and fact check me. But there are some companies out there that will not let drivers use CBs.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's some. I'm not saying all, but there's some out there that won't let drivers use CBs, and then they wonder why their accident record is so high,
exactly.
or their on time deliveries is so high because they sitting in traffic for 2-3 hours when they could have the CB, you holler at CBA, what's going on up there? Oh man, it's a wreck up here at exit 249. All right, well, tell you what, I'm about to jump off at 252 and go a back way, go around this.
Right.
Warner is one of them, and
Who?
Warner actually had a lawsuit. It was for $100 million, and it said the driver couldn't warn other drivers due to the CB radio ban.
Well, Warner's always been stupid because they pride themselves on being, no, honestly, they pride themselves on being the king of ELDs. They
Yeah,
actually put that
man.
on the back of their trailers. But you
Yeah,
know why they're the king of ELDs? Because they actually caused a lot of accidents and got in a big, big lawsuit
let me
back in
tell
the
you.
day. And they were actually, the reason why they're the king of ELDs is because the government put a regulation on them so bad that they had no choice but to use ELDs. So
Mhm.
then they want to put on the back of their trailers, oh, we're the pioneers. Yeah, because y'all did dumb shit back in the day.
100%.
Yeah, that's that. So I definitely want to talk about that because I definitely feel that technology has ruined it, man. It's just you got people in the industry that shouldn't be in the industry. When we talk about autonomous trucks, everybody says that autonomous trucks gonna take over. And I made a thing. I made a couple points, and I'm gonna keep hitting home on these points. AI trucks won't take over. Yes, they will. I said, you know why they won't take over? Why they won't take over? All it takes for them is one accident. They got one accident. We talk about insurance risk, right? One accident, a person can get paid probably $1 billion.
Man, for real.
How many people can they sue if they get in an accident with an AI truck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's why PACCAR made them put a safety driver back in the truck.
Exactly why Packard pulled out. They pulled out at first. Yeah, they pulled out. And they pulled out originally. They pulled out and said, "Nah, we ain't touching this," because they saw the risk. They said,
Yes.
"If there's an accident, we're gonna get sued too.
Yes.
We're gonna be on the hook." It's not just the autonomous companies, not just the insurance. It's gonna be us. And then the government stepped in and said, "You know what? We're gonna be on the hook too because we don't
Mm-hmm.
do this."
Yep.
Everybody's
Yep.
like, "Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on." And we all know Alante Insurance. They stepped in and said,
Yeah.
"Hold on,
Yep.
we
Yeah.
Y'all
gotta
get
get
this
with
shit
the road
together.
because we are insuring these companies, so we all gonna get hit."
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
That's why AI trucks will never take over trucking anytime soon because of the risk. I said because all you need is one accident,
Mm.
and there's reports out there. Lawyers are saying that it would be a multi-billion-dollar accident if it happens with an AI trucking company.
Lord
Ooh.
Jesus. What about also how it ruined the mechanic parts of the trucks? When they start doing all these updates and putting all these fucking sensors on these motherfuckers, the smarter got, the dumber got.
Yeah.
It's stopping in the middle of the road doing dumb shit. You can,
We're
and
gonna
you
get we're gonna get political real quick. Where did that shit come from?
probably Joe Biden. I'm just
And
joking.
the Democrats because
He said, I
and
just
for the
jumped in.
Democrats because they care about the environment. We need sense.
Sleepy Joe.
And that's why, and I tell people, okay, I made a report as the EPA is trying to roll that back. And
Yeah.
they also said just because a sensor go out don't mean the truck should lose power and the truck can't go nowhere.
Right.
That's not right. Because
Right.
the data shows what's the biggest expense that truckers spend money on? Towing.
Yeah.
So the truck
Mm.
goes into D-rate mode, you can't really drive. And then
Right.
now you gotta get a tow truck.
Yeah. For sure.
Because of a
For
damn
sure.
sensor. It's not the engine that's not working, it's a sensor that's telling the truck to cut off.
Man, my homeboy's truck went into D-rate mode one time. He was 2 hours away from the house. He had to stay and do a 35 reset at the truck stop, 2 hours away from the house while he was on the way home because of the damn D-rate from DEF.
What I don't like about the death thing because I had this happened to me multiple times. It always happened because of knock sensor. I hate those sensors.
Yes.
What I don't like about it is that a trucker can't get it out of D-rate mode. There's nothing that we can plug it in and get it out real quick and get us home,
Mm-hmm.
get us to a space. It just shuts down, and then a mechanic has to come with his system to plug in and get you out of D-rate mode, or you got to go to the dealer, and they can get you out of D-rate mode because they got to do a full reset.
Yes.
Like in those trucks, they should have something like that for the trucker where he can get it out of himself and at least get him home, at least get him to a place. Because if you paying somebody to come out, that's at least $1,000 they're gonna come out.
I was just about to say that they ain't gonna do that because at the end of the day, it's a money grab. Now you're eliminating the mechanic's job.
Well, you eliminating roadside.
Yeah, roadside. Yeah, roadside
Roadside
mechanics.
really should
Yes.
just be for if I got a flat tire, okay, cool, but not my truck broke down for a sensor that don't really got nothing to do with my engine. It's
Mm-hmm.
that it's clogged and that's it. That killed trucking. That killed me. I ain't gonna lie, that killed me, bro. You know me. I had to change the sensor at least on one of my trucks at least once or twice a week. I mean,
Yeah.
like a month. That's
Yeah.
like 3 grand a month just on sensors, bro.
Yeah.
And,
That killed my friend because you got to think about it, now it's eating into his home time, and
It,
that's not fair. That's not fair.
not fair.
So when he was able to get his truck fixed and everything, he took an extra 2 days off,
Right.
and they had to pay him for layover pay.
That's what I'm saying. So that's one of those things that is it's just
But if he was the owner operator, how you gonna get a broker to pay for that? You
oh you
can't.
because I ain't got to be honest, I ain't got nothing to do with the broker. That's just
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. So the people that are putting all this technology on here, they're not thinking about the driver once again. My friend missed out on his family time because of some dumbass shit that y'all put on a truck.
but that's the reason why I say if you're a trucker, you should be happy about what's going on in your industry because you're getting eyes on the industry and they're making a lot of changes. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
the EPA is going after the engine manufacturers and saying, get that off. We shouldn't have a D-rate mode like that. No, 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 no. Because all that is environmental regulations that was put on before, and they're like, no, take that off, take that off, take that off, because they know also too it's hurting the truckers. So no matter what it is, if this was a blue doing that, if this was Obama or Biden doing that, I'll give them praise too because I'm in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But this administration, as a trucker, doesn't matter if you are a Democrat trucker, you should still be happy because they're making your industry better so you can get more money.
I think that I actually came at you, Marcus, with this. I think that's why Democrats have lost the trucking industry because when you think about it, Republicans, no matter how you feel about Republicans have done the most for the trucking industry. That's why truckers will always continue to vote Republican. So Jasmine Crockett and everybody, like all these Democrats, like Maxine Waters, like how will y'all get the trucking industry back? Because y'all forget about us. They forget about the trucking industry, and the trucking industry is a lot of people, a
Huge,
lot.
huge.
Well, Marcus, I have to say this while we're on the subject. You spoke about earlier about how the biggest uh, expense a trucker has is towing. It doesn't have to be like that. I have trucking at $500 for the year. I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
I have roadside service at 500 for a year. It includes a $50. I'm sorry, 50 mile towing with your subscription. So
okay.
Mm,
anyone need roadside assistance, give us a call.
mm.
ExtraMileCoverage.com.
774-296-3919. If you want to get that towing package, every trucker should get that. So only $500 for what is it? $500 a year? What is it?
500 a year, and you get two twice a year towings of 50 miles.
Hey, Alante, take a sip on that.
because because 50 miles that's like 10 bands.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. All right, well let's get into this final subject. We're gonna talk about okay, so we talked about everything. We talked about the foreign truckers, not the industry, the government, we talked about truckers, talked about trucking companies, and we talked about technology. So we're gonna have this final point. I know we're gonna have some good conversations on this, and then we'll close out. Trucking gurus. Trucking gurus. How did they mess up the trucking industry?
Go ahead, Alante. I'll let you take the lead on that.
I feel like it's a lot of people misled. I feel like a lot of people got in the game and they over flooded the game. I feel like they made it seem like a get rich quick scheme, and it's just not. It's a lifestyle. I feel like a lot of people, were led down the wrong road and lost their family and their lives because what somebody told them. I'm in insurance. I met a plethora of individuals said, "Hey, I paid 10 grand for this guy's course. Yeah, he can't had me come out to Texas and he showed me where his trucks were, and you know, so I can learn." I'm like, 10 grand. And he said, "Yeah, he's gonna help me. He's gonna introduce me to brokers. So he's gonna introduce you to brokers for $10 fucking thousand. But these are the same people who are paying people to start their 30s for $1,000, who are paying people to give them EIN numbers for $300, who are paying. Man, I got so many stories. I got one of my insurers. He came to me. He's paying somebody to set his DOT up. He paid him 1,500, which is crazy. I'm not mad at the hustle, but that's crazy. And then additionally, he like, they have to update his MCS 150. They charge him $600 to update his MCS 150. I'm like, bro, that's you just logging in your portal and updating your filings. That's free. They're charging you $600, something they could do in 20, 30 minutes. So that goes back to people getting knowledge from these trucking gurus. I don't know, bro. I'm gonna let y'all go.
Me, I like everything you said, and I got nothing else to say because everything that I was gonna say, you just said it. There's people call me, text me, email me, reach out to me, and tell me the same stories, man. And then when I say what I say, a lot of people say I'm hating and all of that. So I've got nothing to say.
Oh, get your shit off, CDL. I ain't taking that.
Nah, CDL, you got
You
people
gotta get your
specifically
shit
on
off.
your mind.
Nah. You ain't gotta name. You ain't gotta name. No.
I
You ain't
ain't
gotta name nobody. You ain't gotta say no names. Get your shit off. Get your shit off. This is the
no.
finest
I
thing you
mean,
do is get.
no.
Nah,
That's
I don't want to hear that. No, I don't want to hear that shit. Get your shit off, CDL. Tell us how you really feel. You told dog. Tell us how you really feel.
that's how I really feel.
Nah.
That's how I really feel. That's how I really feel. That's how I really feel, man.
But I get it, CDL, because we talk about it on the off camera and stuff. It just feel like, bro, like it start. I used to be mad at the gurus, but I realized a business, a dummy wants to be sold. A dummy
Yeah,
want, and I'm not
yeah,
calling most truckers, but if people are charging you, and because you didn't go see the education, like Marcus says, 600 to update your authority, they're just gonna log in and put some stuff in, and it's gonna be updated in a day, $600.
bro. At the end of the day, I always say this. At the end of the day, it was COVID. A lot of people was working 9 to 5. They wanted to switch. They were tired of the 9 to 5. Then you had people coming in trying to look for different avenues. Then people made trucking look sexy. The main thing I hear is trucking is recession proof. Everything stopped during COVID, but you still saw trucks running up and down the road.
They
You
said,
know, that's the number one line. And then at the end of the day, people wanted something that they can feel a part of. That's why you had all these events going on. It's quite funny that there's not a lot of events going on anymore nowadays. But anyways, that's why you had all the events. You had the flashy cameras. You had the limos. You had all of that going on. And now you don't have it anymore. And now people are failing. Now their trucking companies shut down. Now the person that was a dispatcher found out that guess what? I do need a CDL to do this because I can't find a reliable driver. Yeah, you can find a driver anywhere, but where are you going to find a reliable one at? Now you can't find a reliable driver. Now you realize that guess what? I got to jump in this truck and either drive it myself or I'm going to have to sell it. Then when they jump in the truck and drive it themselves, they realize, oh, I don't really want to do this. This trucker lifestyle is not for me. And it's just like I say, for me, I've been on it so long, it's like I'm beating a dead horse. At the end of the day, people gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna pay what they want to pay because they want to feel a part of something. And 2020, 2021, those were the golden years for them. But for them to go as far as not support somebody that's real like us and other people in this industry, is I feel like it's a slap in our face. You
well,
know,
What
Go
I don't
ahead.
like, bro. And then now I'm with you on this side. I don't like gurus who don't got a license. That's
Hey,
what I don't
okay,
like.
okay. So you say you're with me on that, right?
But with business people, I can get you not to have a license. I get that. With a guru, nah, you gotta have a license to be a guru, bro. Cause you
Bro,
gotta know.
bro,
Cause go ahead.
I was hung on the cross for that. I took them lashes on my back for that.
You
I took
did.
them bullet holes for that.
You
Still
did.
taking them to this day.
You did. You did. I get not running a business, and I get your business of I get your business of running or selling that you run a business. The trucking is that's your business. You're selling people. Oh, I can run a successful truck company and not being a trucker. But what happened is that truckers have too many leeches and too many people around them that want to be truckers. So many group pages of everybody want to be truckers. Everybody want to be you, but don't want to be you when it's convenient of you fulfilling or understanding how I feel to be on that road.
You know why? This is a great analogy. I watched Stephen A. Smith have that conversation with Jerry Jones. Now, Jerry Jones not only wants to be the owner of the team, but he wants to be the GM. Not only does he wants to be the GM, but he wants to be a football player too. You know why? Because the dispatcher, the person that owns the company, the person in compliance, is not as sexy as being a truck driver. So that's why they want to leech on to us. Being a GM of a football team, being an owner of a football team, isn't as sexy as being an actual football player.
It's not. It's not.
So
You ain't
that's
throwing that
one of the
football.
and that's one of the reasons why I get on box truck drivers. We're not the ones leeching onto them and saying, "Hey, I'm in the box truck game. I want to be in the. I'm a box truck driver now." No, they're the ones leeching onto us and saying, "Hey, we're truck drivers. Hey, we got the Bluetooth headsets. Hey, we go out and do OTR with you." So that and a lot of people kill me for that. A lot of people want to hang me for that, but I'm always gonna stand 10 toes down on that because at the end of the day, we're not the ones leeching on to you guys. You guys are leeching on to us. It's
Mhm.
sexy to be a truck driver. When you dating a woman and you tell her you a truck driver, and she be
Yep.
like, "Oh, okay, I want to go out on the road with you." And
Yeah.
you pull up in your Sprinter van or your box truck, she gonna look at you and be like, "What the fuck? I thought you was in a Peterbilt long nose 379, shifting gears." So
Preach, brother.
we
Preach.
got to keep it real. We
Yeah.
just got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. I don't hate box truck drivers for what they do. I just hate them for leeching on. Y'all make y'all's own lane. Become
Yeah.
y'all's own thing.
Yeah.
Y'all are not truckers at the end of the day, point blank, period.
They,
And like you said, the owner of the trucking company, no, that's not as sexy as actually being that trucker that's
it's
actually
not.
got that headset on and actually can back that truck up. It's not sexy. Ain't no woman trying to, even though, yeah, you the owner, you the boss and all of that, still, they still want to get in that truck with you and ride across country. And guess what? You can't do
Damn
it
right.
because you don't have a CDL.
Damn right, CDL. CDL, these gurus came in and, they infiltrated so many people's minds of what it actually take because they made people think that you can scale up quick. And I've done this myself, and there's no repercussion to scaling quick. There are. You can get put out of service if you scale too quick. You can might not run the right equipment and get losses or get claims, or even worse, get an accident, somebody get hurt. That's what they did. They
Yeah,
influenced the
yeah.
masses to do
And,
some
and
easy.
look, and look, I go as far as to say this. I was cool with Maddie Daddy Time once upon a time on Instagram. Me and we was cool until I asked him about a CDL. Then he wanted to get mad at me, right? Now, he goes as far as to tell people how to buy a truck, what you need to look for to buy a truck, what type of engine, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, damn, that sounds like you know the pre trip. If you know the pre trip that bad, what's wrong with going to CDL school? You should be able to ace the pre trip. But no, he jumped in my DM and said, "Oh, I'ma slap you when I see you. You a bitch. I don't need a CDL." So that means you're telling me that you're a better businessman than I am? Are you trying to say you're better than me? Are you trying to say you're better than a CDL holder? Because they'll always start out and say, "No, we respect y'all. I respect what y'all do. I can't drive the truck." Yeah, but you sure as hell can get out there and tell people what to look for when they go buy a truck. Now, if you know the pre-trip that well, spend a few $100s and go to CDL school. It's only 4 weeks. You mean tell me you can't sacrifice 4 weeks? Come on, man. Stop it. Stop playing.
Who, who, who did I say I was going to ask you about before this started? I said I was going to ask you about somebody. I
I don't
forgot.
know. I forgot. I forgot. I forgot.
Fucking hustle.
Marcus, who did I say, bro?
Fucking hustle.
Huh?
Fucking hustle.
Truck and hustle, truck and hustle. So what
Oh,
happened with
okay.
truck and hustle, bro? Because I'm gonna take my personal my play on them. I kind of started the truck industry listening to their podcasts, just listening to some of their stuff, their commentary. They would have brokers on, and obviously they went so corporate. It's a stale mark. It's a stale content to me. It's not like it was. So what happened between them and you?
To be honest with you, I admired him. I did. Still do. I ain't got no hate in my blood. I did reach out to him. I did want to be on his show, right? I think at the time he might have thought that I was trying to sell my mentorship, but I made it point blank. I made it clear that I wanted to talk about truckers' health because this was a few months right after I got out the hospital. I was still in Jacksonville, so I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to talk about the ins and outs of what's going on in the trucking industry and how it's gotten bad and what we can do to better it. And I wanted to, educate drivers on stuff I already talk about, as far as being mechanics of the truck, knowing things, teaching drivers this, stuff like that. Well, first of all, he went as far as to take it to, I had to go through the proper channels and protocols with different other people in his organization. I couldn't talk to him straight out. I had to go through everybody else to talk to him, number one. Then number two, they pitched him the idea. He came back and said, "Okay, cool. I don't want to talk about any of that. I want to talk about your heart attack and a little bit about truckers' health." And I'm like, "Damn, I can't even talk about what I really want to talk about." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So then he has a lady call me and says, "Okay, well, Ramel would love to talk to you. He would love to talk to you, but it's going to be $4,000. Plus, he would love for you to come to Philly. So you're gonna have to pay for your plane ticket. And if you need some hotels, you might want to look at that too." And I'm like, damn, that's 4,000 plus a plane ticket plus room and board to just have a conversation right after I got out of a heart transplant a few months ago, and my copay for my heart transplant is $8,000, and it was $1 million surgery. I said, damn. I said, wow. And then the lady that he had me talk to, she wanted me to do some kind of thing to where they had something going on. I forget what it was. It was like a promo thing where they wanted me to sign people up for something, and then I would get a kickback from it. So I really wasn't feeling that either. So then I'm like, damn, $4,000, like that just kept going through my mind. And then it was some people that I would talk to it about, and they was like, "Hey man, you can't knock the hustle. He's been in this industry a long time. People have ran off on him. So yeah, he should get paid for this." I'm like, okay, cool. But it still ate me to my core because it was just like, damn, you really gonna charge somebody $4,000 that just got out of a heart transplant and want to talk about helping drivers, whether it's drive the truck, what things to look for, truckers' health, what's going on in the industry, brokers, all of this. And it was just on my mind. So then, fast forward a few months later, I just go to the truck parking lot and I just tell everything, man. I just because it was on my mind. It was a hurtful experience for me, and I just tell everything. And would you know, I could never talk to him, but wouldn't you know that as soon as I told people that, oh, automatically I can talk to him now. Now he hit me up in the DM. Now, So I'm like, wow, okay, this is what this is all about. So, like I said, he's got a great thing going on over there, but when you raping the industry like that, I mean, you charging your fellow driver $4,000 to talk about some real stuff. And then the lady tried to sell me. I never forget. I was in Target going to go buy some flip flops, and she had called me, and she was like, "Well, what do you think you can do?" And once again, I think she was coming at it from a business standpoint because I think they thought that I was trying to sell my mentorship program. And she was like, "Well, can you give us $1,000? Because if you give us $1,000, and then let's say if you get a lot of people to follow you in your business and things like that, the return on investment will be great. And I'm like, ma'am, I ain't got it like that right now. Like, and she just kept trying to sell me and sell me and sell me. And then that was just like, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. Because you have to be aware of people that do want to use your platform. And maybe he's went through that where people want to use him. But I genuinely did not want to use him at all. You know, I wanted to get my story out, tell my story about my heart transplant. I'm a little upset with the Mayo Clinic because they never gave me a choice to get my story out about my heart transplant. They hyped it up and, oh, Mr. Jackson, you ran a marathon or you walked a marathon in the ICU under this device and you are just a miracle and blah, blah, blah. And we want to know if we can use your story as a case study and all of that. And we want you to get up and tell your story and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as I got my heart transplant, I got at the hospital, the Mayo Clinic kicked me to the side as well. So I was just feeling like nobody wanted to talk to me. Like the Mayo Clinic, they used me up, and I felt like he didn't want to talk to me. So it was a lot of resentment and a lot of anger that came out of that. So did I handle it right? I don't know. Would I do it all over again? Would I change and do it all over again? No, I do it exactly the same way. Because at the end of the day, my heart is pure and I'm really for this industry and I really want to see change in this industry. I really want truckers not to be labeled as steering wheel holders, and I really want them to know the difference between a long stroke brake chamber and a short stroke brake chamber. I want them to know what a type 30 is and what a type 20 is. I want them to know how to chain up, things of that nature. I want them to know about their health, what to eat, the salt content, the sodium, you know. I was doing things like going inside a pilot, going inside TA, flying J, and looking and showing people how much the fruit costs versus how much candy costs. I know that fruit has to be fresher. I understand that. But you don't think pilot, TA, flying J, you don't think they're getting that type of money where they can't make fruit deliveries, they can't get fruit deliveries every day when they charging $22 per parking spot per night? Oh, come on, man. So
Well,
that was just my story with him. Like I said, I got no hate for that man or anything like that. You know, that was just my experience. I was just telling people about my experience, and that was
so
my experience.
I know I want Marcus to go, and I also, but I want to ask about Kiera, and I also want to ask about Alex, but I know we ain't got a lot of time for that.
Well, first
So
of all, with Kiera, me first of all, I respect Kiera. I got no beef with her at all. Like I said, she got on the phone with me, and when we got on the phone call, it was very heated at first. But me and her, we came to a mutual ground and a mutual understanding. I got no beef with her. To be honest with you, I respect her.
you too.
Alex, I tell you point blank period, I don't respect him because he's had plenty opportunities to sit down and talk with me. He's the one running. I've never ran. And then when you say sit down, you can't put stipulations on the sit down because you can't go back and undo what you did. You can't go back and undo how you tried to cut me out of a deal with Clarissa Rankin behind my back. You think you can go back and undo that? I can go back and take all the videos now, but can you go back and make that right? Can you go back and make it right with all the people that bought your course that have failed? Can you make that right? If you can make that right, I'll take the videos down and then we can sit down. Until that time, you ain't got nothing to say to me and I ain't got nothing to say to you. And if we see each other in the streets, then we can talk about it.
Yeah, I respect Kiera, a lot. Yeah, and I don't care what nobody talk about her because she'll meet you where you at.
Yeah,
And a
she'll
lot,
meet you where you at. And all the people that bought the courses,
yeah.
you can't put that totally all on Kiera or Alex. I'll
Mm.
never put it all on them because at the end of the day, they never put a gun to anybody's head and said, hey, buy my course. But what I do say is, it is some accountability because we'll save that later. I
Well,
don't
see,
even want to say that. We'll
they're
save
mad at
that.
her because they feel like she was capping about having all those trucks, and I don't think that matters. I don't think her exaggeration matters of what she had or she didn't have because she's still promoting her shit. Like a lot of these people,
I tell you what she told me, which I thought was very commendable. You know, I be in Dallas. I used to live in Dallas for 4 years. I know she knows the spots I used to hang out at and all that, right? I told her, I said, when I come to Dallas, can me and you meet? And I come You show me the yard, and and we come and we walk around the yard and we talk and we look at these trucks. At first, she said this was when the phone call was heated. At first, she said, "No, who the fuck are you? I ain't got to show you a motherfucking thing." But then, as the phone call started to progress and we started to see each other's point, she was very open. She was like, "Yeah, you come on over." She's like, "Yeah, we can go out, we can talk, definitely." So I always give her credit. I always give her credit. That is a great woman. I'll say that.
Any woman that can afford a $20,000 month rent, they need to quit picking at people who go through bankruptcy and go through any kind of financial turmoil. Because when you're playing at a certain level for Black Americans, normally this is our first time we're getting wealth, so we're gonna stumble and not pay things. That shit just part of getting money, bro. But for her to be able to afford a 20 grand a month rent, she getting me. Period.
Who Marcus say he quiet?
I'm listening.
He like a cobra. He said, man, he about to strike.
No, I'm just taking it in, but I always feel the same. I think we all have the same sentiment. I feel like we've talked about this plenty of times about the trucking gurus and people that sell courses and stuff. You can't knock the hustle, but
And look, not to cut you, I gotta say this one thing, Marcus. People will be like, "Oh, CDL Shorty, you just the internet guy. You just talking on the internet, blah. You just somebody just talking, talking, talking." Each person that I've talked about, I've actually had a conversation with these people, and I've actually said, "Hey, where you at? Let's meet. Let's sit down." I said it to Alex. I've said it to Kier. I've said it to Maddie Daddy Time. I forget Michael Nims is his name. I said it to him. Where you at? Where you? He actually came to me. Where you at? We need to talk, homie. I said, "Hey, I'm in Charlotte, but I'll be in Atlanta in 2 weeks." I said, "You want to come up here? We can talk. When I come down there, we can talk. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you." Then he calmed down and was like, "Hey, man." He's like, "We can have a conversation, but I promise I'm gonna keep my hands to myself, no beef. But you gonna respect my name." But I just want to say all that to say I'm not just talking on the internet. Like, I'm a real person. I really will meet you. We can sit down. We can talk. Got no problem with that. Like I told you guys, Adam tried to get me and Alex to sit down and talk. I was all for it. But you can't come and put some bullshit stipulations on something like that. No, you're not allowed to do that. And then I said, I'd negotiate. I said, okay, cool. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, I'll take all the videos down. If he go to school and get a CDL, that's a good negotiation. No, it didn't happen. Because at the end of the day, you try to cut me behind my back out of a deal with Clarissa Rankin. Now that's fine. That's fine because me and her don't see eye to eye anyway. But we were business partners at one point in time. You try to go behind my back as a man and cut me out of the deal, and then say I will promote her school, which he did not. So no, how you going to reverse that? If I take the videos down, how do you reverse that as a man? How do
What
you
about
reverse
Larry?
the
What
people?
about
How do you
Larry?
reverse the people that I know that took your course that have failed? How you make it right with them? But you want to tell me in order for me to sit down with you, I gotta do what? No, my nigga, I don't roll like that, player. I don't roll like that. When we gonna be fair? That's what I stand up for. I stand up for fairness. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I stand up for fairness. That's why I'm so hard on the English proficiency. Just like we talked about earlier. Yeah, the foreigners have fucked it up, but Americans have fucked it up too. That's fairness.
Did one more point, and I'm gonna let Marcus run with this. I know Marcus ain't even really. What about Larry?
So my situation with Larry, right? Me and Larry was cool one point in time too. Me and Larry actually have talked through DMs. Hey man, I love what you do. Keep up the great work. He's told me that, and I've told him that too. I don't know where right out the blue one night he just starts unfollowing me and just didn't want to. I'm messaging him, what's going on? He stopped talking to me. So I'm like, the fuck? What I do to him? So I'm like, what I do to you? Like, we had just talked the other day. You literally just told me, hey, I'm gonna go subscribe to your YouTube channel, man. I like what you got going on. So overnight, you want to just shun me? So that's the situation.
Yeah, I met him, and I did some, and I talked to him on the phone. He reached back out to me. I met him through DM, and and I regained my number. He ended up calling me, or I called him. I can't remember. Told him what I was doing. This was when I was just getting into insurance. 3-4 years ago, man. He was like 6 grand. I'm like, damn. And then
Oh,
I'm not mad at nobody price, so I understand what you're saying about what you felt about truck hustle.
I'm glad that you brought that up about you talking about Larry or Trucking Hustle.
Larry.
Okay, another bone I have to pick with him. He was I never forget. He was at Miss Lola's event. I didn't make it there, but he was at Miss Lola's event, and he got up there and he told them people there. He said, "I'm gonna give y'all one little marketing strategy for free. I'm gonna give it to y'all for free because y'all can't afford me." Who the fuck do you think you are to tell somebody they can't afford you?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's my
expect
other
that.
bone.
And then on top of that, like I'm not mad at. I would at least prefer, and I'm just off calling a spade. I would do truck and hustle. They're well because they're gonna tag it or repost the links. Larry gonna do one link. He gonna do one little edition and say kiss his ass
Well, not
for
only
one thirty
that, but
second
have
video.
not only that, but have you ever heard him stand up for anything in the trucking industry as far as drivers' rights, drivers' pay? I mean, he does a lot of comedy, and I'm not a hater.
Yeah,
His comedy's good. I laugh
yeah.
at it, but as far as what I'm doing, have you seen him do any of that?
Nah, bro. But all comedians aren't activists.
But
You
when
get
you got
some
a
comedians that's are.
when you got a platform like that, you got to insert something in there for the drivers. You got to. That's the responsibility that comes with this. That's why Clarissa Rankin's so mad at me. I told her we're not celebrities. Our thing is we work for the people that put us in place. You would be nothing if you didn't have the subscribers that you have.
100%.
If Kelly Clarkson didn't put you on her stage, on her platform, on an interview, and then guess what? You got followers from that.
But
See,
did
we get to a point in our careers, we
you
get
said
to a
Kelly
point.
Clarkson,
Yeah, she had an interview with Kelly Clarkson.
the singer?
Anyways, yes.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you better go check it out. But anyways, we get to a point in our career where guess what? We forget about the people. And that's what Martin Luther King did not do and Malcolm X didn't do. They didn't forget about the people. They didn't forget about the people. They stood in the trenches with the people, and that's what I do. But you have people that act like they're celebrities because they got the following and the blue check that forget about the people. Like I said, with Alex, he gonna tell me I need to pay for a consultation fee. I am the people that you so-called represent. I drive a truck. When you was popping all your shit on social media back in 2020, guess what I was doing? Out on the road trucking, delivering loads, and had a heart attack. I went on social media. I was doing what I needed to do. I was in the truck. And you gonna have the audacity to tell me I need a book a consultation? Fuck you for life. So that's where I stand on that.
All right, Marcus, I think we got it out of the way.
You got it out. um, trucking gurus and trucking and how it affected. I feel like I said, it's a 50-50 thing. But what I don't like is that people are making trucking look sexy because trucking is not sexy. That's the biggest misconception. Trucking is a blue collar job. There's nothing sexy about it. I don't like it when you see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can get you a couple of trucks, and then now you're driving a Rolls Royce and a Bentley. You're gonna make millions and millions of dollars." Hated that because what it did, it gave it a false sense of what it really is.
It did.
A lot of people jumped in the trucking industry, especially around COVID, because they saw that it was. If you look at a marketing standpoint, it was terrible marketing, and it got a lot of people in trouble. But it's also the responsibility of the
Mm.
people that bought these courses. You were sold the dream and you bought it, and then you realize how much hard work it is to be in trucking. So one thing I'm always gonna be in the middle of this, but it was a responsibility on both sides.
Yeah, because another thing, those people that was doing that, selling those courses and stuff like that, that said that they were in trucking, they don't know what it is to leave their wife or leave their family or leave their husband.
It was just at that time, I believe that, especially during COVID, like you said, everything lined up for that for those people to make a lot of money because people wanted to stay at home where they couldn't work. They wanted something easier, but they were sold the dream. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna own a trucking company and have diamonds and stuff on. You're not gonna own a trucking company and be pushing a Bentley and having a big house. That doesn't happen all of a sudden. Uh,
Yeah.
I think probably a lot of people once they got these courses and they realized what it was, they were like, damn. But there's nothing you can do. Ain't no refunds. You,
Right.
but then they didn't put in the work to actually be successful.
Exactly.
It's just like when people go to college, right? You get the information, but what you do with it is going to make you successful.
Yeah, that's why I hold those people accountable too. Like I said, Alex and them didn't put no gun to your head,
Right, right.
but they sure made it enticing.
They made it enticing. You look at it like, hey, it's great marketing, because a lot of people got sold the dream and they jumped in and they're like, fuck. So it's one of those things that, yeah, and then yeah, those people aren't really around now, but do I think that this these type of people are trying to come back because it is going to get better? For sure. They're definitely going to come back. They're definitely going to be trying to sell us things. They're definitely going to be trying to do their thing, I think. But I just think that truckers have gotten smarter, but that doesn't prevent the new people trying to get in. So I definitely say that I didn't like it because they were so. I knew people that bought Alex's course as well, and they told me it wasn't really nothing that they learned. That was their opinion. So, and they paid a lot of money. They were like, bro, I can just give it to you. You know?
Bro, it was a lady that called me, told me she learned more from Adam Wingfield, because I guess at one point in time, Adam and Alex did some business together within the course. That he would come on, I guess, once a week or something like that, and do a conference call with some people. These are her words, not mine. She literally told me I learned more from Adam than I learned from Alex.
Yeah.
And that was when I first started hearing about Adam Winfield's name. And the way that me and him got connected, and he'll tell you the story too, because me and him, we laugh about it to this day, because I got the utmost respect for that man. I got nothing bad to say about that man. But the way that me and him met was after that woman told me that story, and I met that woman, I got on Adam's ass. And you know what Adam did? Whoa, 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 hold on, brother. And instead of running from you, let's talk. Let me see your point. Why? He sent me a link and he was like, "Hey, let's have a video chat Monday." I hit him up on Friday. He was like, "Let's have a video chat." Got on the video chat with him Monday. We stayed on there for about an hour, and he was like, "Hey, your anger isn't directed towards me," and blah 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 blah. And ever since that time, me and Adam been locked in. But that woman, she was like, "I learned more from Mr. Adam Wingfield than I've learned from Alex." And those were her words, not mine.
That's
What like sell lifestyle marketing. All of those people he do content with, their emphasis is lifestyle marketing. So they'll have trucks, or they'll have a business doing credit, or they'll have a business doing fitness, or they'll have a business doing, and they market the lifestyle because we in the A. And we in the A, and I was telling my wife about this. I'm looking at $1 million crib in the next year or so. I'm like, babe, $1 million crib here is like 5,000 a month. And for $1 million, we can get a brand new modern home and market the lifestyle with content. I know Marcus know the fuck where I'm going with this, because you can live a lifestyle and can sell people best in your lifestyle,
I
and that's
understand that. I understand it.
and
And it's
it,
but what we're
it don't
talking
even
about,
really be like that. It don't even be hard to live like that in the A for whatever reason. It's just set like that.
but what we're talking about is lifestyle content has
Hmm.
messed up trucking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I fell
Well,
into it at one point in time. One of my greatest motivational speakers, me and him talked. I paid that man $1,000 to shoot a 60-second commercial with my product on, right? Because I looked up to him so much.
you want to say his name?
Yeah, what's his name? I can't even think of the guy's name, but it's still on there. He's a black dude with dreads, and he's got my CDL Shorty hat and all of that. Um, but I paid him $1,000. Right, worst decision I ever did in my life. Worst decision I ever did in my life, because I realized God showed me, and the universe showed me that, guess what? I'm the prize. I'm the ticket.
Hmm.
And then when you look up to these people, guess what? You get your feelings hurt.
All the
Because
time.
that man, when I was in the hospital on my deathbed waiting for my heart transplant, that man called me. And you know what he said to me? Hey man, I'm about to go on tour. I got a show in Detroit, man. I'm about to go on tour. Brother, can you make a donation? I'm like, what? Make a donation? Like I'm in the hospital. You said when I met you, you told me and my wife, oh, I'm gonna call him. He gonna be in good hands. I'm gonna check on him. You got a brother for life. Brother, he ain't called me not one time in the hospital. I called him.
Mm.
And the time I called him, he was like, okay, cool. You know, he's a little busy with his son, I think. He called me back 2 weeks later. Hey man, I'm looking for a donation. And I'm like, bro, I'm in the hospital right now. What you mean you looking for a donation? I called him out right then and there. He got so upset with me. He blocked me and made me look like I was the problem. But I got suckered into the lifestyle content because I wanted my shit to pop.
Hmm.
It didn't pop. He only got me 800 views.
Man, you know, bro, God is so amazing. I'm about to get my preacher back because you just brought back me. I remember when you made some really good content for motivation when you was in your hospital, bro. That shit
That was
inspired the
God. That
fuck
was
out of me,
God.
bro.
That was God.
That on some not get trying to get emotion. That shit was inspiring as fuck. I'm like, no matter what I'm going through, I'm like, damn, this he going through it, bro. And you fighting through it and still praying online and still showing the faith. So you have every right and reason to be out here going against the fakes.
Well, okay, I appreciate that. I thank you for that. But you know what? There are people out there that will say to me, why are you like this? You should be grateful that God gave you a second chance at life and you almost died. Why are you like this? If I was you and I got a second chance at life like this, I'd be somewhere at home sitting my ass down and shutting the hell up. No, for real. There are people that say that to me.
Great.
And I'm thinking to myself, who are you to tell me what to do with my gift of life?
Mhm.
Oh, it was all fun when Cat Williams got on Club Shay Shay and started exposing people. Oh, it was all fun when Kendrick Lamar dropped the diss track of the century. But the minute I do it, I'm the one that need to sit down, shut up, and humble myself. Y'all didn't catch when Kendrick Lamar said, because some people will show you fake love on this internet. Even one that y'all know. There's a lot of people that show me fake love. I know all this is smoke and mirrors. I know all my followers. I know it's smoke and mirrors. I ain't tripping. Shaylin Dixon. I said what I said about Alex. I mean, not Alex, Larry last week. Oh, she got on my ass. Then she
Shayla
gonna tell,
Dixon. Who that?
yeah, then she gonna tell me you need to be humble. God, I'm gonna pray for God to soften your heart. God this and God this. And I told her, I said, you know what? Some people call me a devil. And guess what? I am a devil that you shouldn't fuck with. Because have you ever thought that maybe it's God's plan for me to come down and show you who the liars are?
Mm.
Because guess what? Y'all love that Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us. And that's exactly what he said in the song. If you don't believe me, go back and listen to it again. He said, truth of the matter is, it was God's plan for me to come down and show y'all the liar.
Mhm.
So don't try to throw God in it when good things are happening. What about when bad things are happening? You don't think God likes a fight too?
True. I
I'm
believe.
just
Absolutely.
saying. I'm not saying that God put me in place to fight. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying you don't know what God likes and what God don't like. Like Smackwater said on Real Life Street Stars, people walk up to him and say, God this and God this. How the fuck you know what God said? You got God's number directly? Okay, shut the fuck up then.
True. I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. But that's the thing, man. It's just when you've been in a blessed position to come back, and sometimes when you come back with stuff, you've been called to do something. And I feel like you've been called to call out the fake. And that's not just in trucking, that's just in anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people behind closed doors feel the same way you do, but they don't have the courage to do what you do.
There's a preacher that I called out, a black preacher. Dude, this dude, Prophet, his name is Prophet Karn on Instagram. Bro, when I took offense and I started calling him out personally, because when I was on my deathbed in the hospital, his clips on Instagram motivated me, dog. I actually, when I got out of, when I made it out of the hospital with my heart transplant, I found out he was gonna be in Jacksonville, Florida. I actually made it to the church that he went to, and I set my behind there. It was on a Friday night. This was before Trump, and this was before the election. He said out his mouth that God prophesied to him and said that Trump's going to be looking down in this distraught, that Kamala is going to win. Kamala loses, and then he goes back, deletes the video. You can't find no proof of the video, and then goes back and says, "See, I told y'all Trump was going to win." And I'm like, this motherfucker right here playing with God.
But you seen it.
I was in the building that night. I know what you said. I heard what you said. I called him out and exposed him on Instagram. All the black churchgoers, oh, they got at me. They told me I was a piece of shit and all this stuff. And then he actually took it so far as to block me. He, a black prophet, a so-called prophet, blocked me. Bro, I was in the building. I know exactly what you said. And for you to sit up there and say, God told you this. See, a lot of people be talking about God in the wrong way. God don't even know you because you got so much bullshit with you. That's why I don't identify with anything, because I know I like to sin. I know I like to sin. See, a lot of people scared to admit that they like to sin. Whether you do a big sin or a small sin, guess what? If we're going to follow the Bible, it says in the Bible that sin is sin. So if you stole a candy bar, or if you went out and did something that, or if you murdered somebody, guess what? In God's eyes, it's the same thing. And people out here talking about God like he's just, oh, this just great God. No, God is made in the image of man. You don't think God got mad at sometimes? Like Eddie Griffin says, you don't think God was a jokester? You don't think God liked to joke around? Christians also uptight. No, let loose. But anyways, that's just like, it's just not just truckers I call out, man. Because guess what? I know at the end of the day, I know I'm not perfect. And I know I hold myself accountable. If I did something wrong, hey, I'm sorry, man. I fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's when we, especially when you talk about that, like the trucking and stuff. I always feel like if you say something about somebody and they instantly react, or they block you instantly, or they cuss you out instantly, it's because they already know they're doing wrong, so they react to it. But if you're doing something right, you ain't gonna react to it. All right, you just talking cool. I'm gonna keep doing my thing. I ain't gotta react to what you're saying. But if you feel some type of conviction that you're doing wrong, you're gonna react.
Okay, what about if you do like Alex and you don't react publicly, but you do some snake ass shit behind my back to react?
But he's still reacting. He's still reacting.
Right.
It's still a reaction. So you know what I'm saying? That's like, somebody say something bad about me. I don't react at all. I don't try to hate on your money. I don't try to react to you in public because it don't affect me because I know what I'm doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
When people know they're doing wrong, bro, they gonna feel some type of conviction and they gonna feel like they gotta get you back some way, somehow, because you blew up their spot. I
Mm-hmm.
said to my wife, I said, when you talk to people and you get on about something, you can already can tell if they knew they was doing wrong or not by their actions, by how
Mm-hmm.
they react. If they react all crazy, like, no, what you talking about? I don't want to do that. Yeah, bro, you do that. But if somebody said, no, I don't really do that, but if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Oh, that nigga really might be doing something right because he's not even affected by it saying. It's the people that got the conviction that know they doing wrong. They show. They show it
Mm-hmm.
the most. But whether that's blocking you, whether that's threatening you, whether that's cussing you out, or up on the side, but it's still a reaction. It's still gonna
Mm-hmm.
do you. You still know it was a reaction. So that's
Mm-hmm.
it, man. Like if you doing wrong, bro, the conviction gonna come, bro. That's because we God's people. It's not
Yeah.
us, bro. So when we doing wrong, we already know we doing something wrong. We know we shouldn't be doing because we feel it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you
Yeah.
doing it right, bro, that's what you say. That's what you say. It don't bother me, bro, because I know my heart. But as far as this trucking gurus, but like we get back to that, the biggest thing, like I said, they sold the dream. I didn't like that. Don't sell
Mm-hmm.
the dream. Don't sell that you're gonna be a millionaire in a week, a millionaire in a month. You making it seem like it's so easy. And like you said, a lot of people lost money. A lot of people lost their marriage. A lot of people lost cash. They lost everything
It's
because
savings.
they believe the dream. But then on the other end, you got to work hard in this industry. There's nothing easy. Check your credentials of the people you're learning from. At least when you go to a college, at least you know these people that went to school and
That's right.
field and did something. They got a track sheet. If you're trying to work with a guru or somebody, check their chat sheet. Check their track record. See who they work with. Hey, anybody work with such and such? Let me know. Let's have a conversation. See how they went. Did they work? Just like I talked to my boy. My boy told me, bro, don't get that, bro. Cause I was like, oh, I seen this thing. I already got that, bro. It ain't worth nothing. But I did my research though. See, a lot of people don't. Everybody just want to rush to the money.
Mm-hmm.
10 grand, I'm gonna make a million. That's how people think. But you ain't. That 10 grand is still valuable to you. You should check people track record.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fall into that. Don't fall into that. Oh, I want to make money real quick. I don't care what nobody say. I see what I see. It's great marketing, bro. Everything in this world is about marketing. So whoever market to you the best, where you don't have to ask no questions. But as a marketer, man, that's amazing. You just
Mm-hmm.
what they did, like damn, they made that shit look sweet. You have and it's not just them. There's a bunch of people out there that did that.
Oh, for sure.
There's
For
a bunch of them
sure.
out there, bro. We got people in the box truck industry. I got into the box truck industry because I saw a certain couple do box truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I can do that. That's how I got into the industry. But then when you get into it, it's like, oh, it's not as sweet as they making it seem. They ain't talking
Mm-hmm.
about this and this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a hustler, so I'm gonna get up on my grind anyway. You know what I'm saying? But that's how the box truck craze. We talk about box truck. That's how the box truck craze went crazy because people are talking about, well, you don't need no CDL. You can make money dealing with a box truck. But the box truck industry, I tell everybody asks me all the time, bro, I'm gonna get a box truck. Bro, get your CDL. If you want to get in the truck and get your CDL, because you got more opportunities to make money. If you get the box truck, bro, you're stuck in a certain lane. You can't get out. There's nothing else you can do.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that. Because everybody talking about get a box truck, get a box truck, get a box truck. You got people to this day. There's some people that's still doing well in box trucks, but they only got 5 box trucks. It's not like they got 50 of them things. They only got
Yeah.
5. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's not like they got a whole fleet. So that just tells you right there that the box truck industry is very limited because there's not so much you can do as if you had your CDL and you drove a semi truck.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, man. But I feel like I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. I feel like they fucked it up by selling the dream and making it something that it's not lifestyle marketing. And I feel like really that the people, hey, they didn't put a gun to your head. So if you lost out, you got the information. You should have did something. You should have did something with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in this market, you can get poised to come make a comeback. It's not over. You learn a little bit, you fail, but maybe you did listen to CDL and got your CDL now. A couple years, 3 years ago you didn't. And now you can go back into your owner op. The market gets good. You can make $800,000, $2 grand a day, and bring home 5 or 6 grand. You can do that. That's possible.
People doing that now. There's people making, like I said, $5, $6, $7 a mile right now. There's people doing
Mm-hmm.
that right now, bro.
100%.
But you got to understand. You got to learn the industry. Learn, bro. Even if you say you made a mistake again and bought that course again next year because the courses is coming back strong. I'm telling you, you bought that course, but the learning doesn't stop with them. You learn what they're giving you, and you keep learning. See, a lot of people was like, I'm associated with them. I got them. I'm gonna instantly be successful like them. A lot of people just want to be a part of the crew. A lot of people just
Yeah.
get money just to be part of the trucking crew to say I'm part of this trucking community.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want to be around people just to say that I'm a part of this. That's all it was. They didn't
Yeah.
really want to get trucking. They just wanted to be part of the in crowd. And trucking was the in crowd at that time. And they was like, yeah, I got the course and I'm part of this and I'm part of this little group or whatever. But they didn't really come in that thing getting these courses trying to make money. They got
Right.
these things to just be a part of something, just to say I'm associated with this person,
Right.
which is weird.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Yeah.
people are like that. But a lot of people just want to be a part of something and they willing to pay just to say I'm a part of this group.
Yep. You're right. Because when you go back and you look at all those trucker events that they used to throw, and you see the faces, bro, those faces are nowhere to be found in 2025.
So that's just what I just pray that even right now, like you look at it, truckers are getting smarter, they understand it. But that's why I always talk about the barrier entry, bro. That's one of the biggest things that can help the industry. You have a higher barrier entry, make it harder for certain people to get in, and you make this lifestyle not as sweet. That's why I love what we do and all our clips. We don't just tell you the good in trucking. we tell you the bad too. And I think we get a lot of respect for that because a lot of people are like, bro, I didn't even know it was like that. I was thinking about getting my thing. Thinking about so many people are like, hey man, I'm thinking about getting my CDL. You talking about trucking boom? I was like, what you gonna get your CDL for?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what do you really want to do? Man, I just want to make some money. This ain't the industry for you. I'm
Yep.
happy telling people that. You know,
No, you're right. I'm glad you tell people that because those are the
people think it's
same people 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, they won't be in it no
those
more.
people that sweet, but those are the people that get into the industry trying to make money, and then they don't make money, and then they bring the rates back down.
Yep.
The type of people that bring the rates down is the people that come in trying to hit a lick. Because oh, we hear you saying a trucking boom. Yes, it's gonna be a trucking boom for people already in it, but you gonna try to come in it and you gonna wreck it up. That's what they did during COVID. That's exactly what
Yep.
they did. You know, but there's a lot of people out there talking about, oh yeah, I'm thinking about getting my CDL. And that's why I say I feel like, you know, I know a lot of people might like that. I feel like some people that do get you get your CDL, like how people jump in and get their CDL. You can't be an owner operator for 2 years.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
You can't be an owner operator for 2 years because
yeah.
they get into the industry, become an owner operator, and then they fuck up the industry. So there should be an entry point to them or a year. I don't know, something to where it's like work for a company, bro. Learn
Look,
business, bro.
look, they do exactly what Elon Musk did. They jump into it, screw it all up, and
Yeah,
jump out of it and leave us with the bullshit.
that's what I'm saying. So that's what I really feel like when you have either as a government involvement, even if the state has to do that, you have some type of regulations where the state is coming in and saying, look, we see the data. People 85% of truckers go out of business within the first year. It's a stat. How do you stop that? Let's just stop letting these people get in so easily, and let's just stop letting these people build these businesses so easy, and let them actually have to work and produce something.
Mm-hmm.
Through the industry, it would do it amazing because what if people had to wait a year to get into the industry and there's a trucking boom next year? That means the
Mm-hmm.
people in the industry that's been thugging it is really gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not worried about it. Oh, he can get in, but he got to work for a company, but he can't become an owner operator and fuck it up.
Right.
I've been in here through the thick and thin, and I've been going through 3 years of hell, and I'm finally, turning it around, and I'm here. That's what's messing up trucking, man. It's somebody's thinking, like I said, people are telling me right now, I'm about to get my CDL and give me a trucking company. They tell me this right now. Because what am I saying? Oh, it's gonna be a trucking boom in 2026. It's gonna be the start of the golden era in trucking. Oh, for real? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get right and get. People are telling me that right now, and I'm telling people like you shouldn't do that, bro. Work for,
Mm-hmm.
but they ain't gonna listen to me, bro. They gonna do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do?
So it's gonna mess up everything again. If they get in, they're gonna mess up the insurance. People gonna be getting insurance. Alante go through this all the time. They get insurance for 1 month and then fuck it up, trick it off. 3, 4 months, they out of business.
That's true.
And who's that leave hanging? The
That's
insurance
true.
agent. If he got to pay money back, he got to deal
That's
with that.
true.
You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with people who got these truck payments. Why you think interest rates is high? It's because people were getting trucks at low interest rate and then defaulting. So they like
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna raise the interest rate on everybody else so we can get the money back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why we have high interest rates. They trying to get the money back before they bring them back down.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have regulations on these things, to be like, oh, hold on, brother, you can't. No, no, no. Because what it is, people get in this industry and they realize how tough it is, and they get out. But they leave everybody to hold the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance agent, because he got to pay money back. A bank that did the loan on the truck. You see what I'm saying? All these things that they got to do. The state, the federal, everybody get left holding the bag because somebody got in and thought it was sweet, and then they get out because they said this shit ain't sweet.
Right.
How the industry gets messed up. It's by the people that get in.
Right. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
It's always those chosen few who ruin bad apples for the bunch. What they taught us in elementary school.
Yeah.
That's true. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
too many people. But now that it's the beautiful thing about a forest fire that the fire produces nutrients to the soil.
It
So the
does.
next forest is going to be a more nutrient soil, more bigger and stronger trees. And that's
Yes.
what, and we went through the fire thanks to Joe Biden. He had to match. He fell his old ass, and I'm sorry.
No,
Nah,
don't be sorry.
I don't
Stand
like
on
Joe.
that.
I don't
Don't be
like Joe.
sorry. Stand on that. That's one thing I've learned. Stand on what you stand on.
Hey, Joe, like you said, when you say Obama, he brought ELDs.
Yeah,
Mandated MELDs.
Obama mandated ELDs, Democrat. Joe Biden had probably the worst trucking recession in his tenure. He messed up. He messed up the diesel, highest rates probably ever. Right? Had all these
Supply chain fucked up.
supply chain messed up. Regulations is higher than ever when he was there. So the question I have to ask you is: has Democrats have they ever been in favor of truckers? Hell no.
I'll push back on that and say Jimmy Carter signed 1980 deregulation, which allowed us to be our own bosses.
But really, did that really help? Being a
That's
boss.
good. That's good right there. That's good. That's good. That's good.
So that's what we're going to. So Jimmy Carter signed a deregulation. Did that really help
Mm-hmm.
trucking? Because what it did was it put a lot of uneducated folks to be owner operators that killed the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So is
Mm-hmm.
being an owner operator really did deregulation really help trucking? I don't think so. If you look at it, like I said, 85% of truckers fail within the first year.
I say yes and no, but I agree with your point. I see what you're saying.
I
You
do
got a head idea.
I do feel like we should have regulation, but I do feel like if you put in limits, time in business, time of service. If you've been
Mm-hmm.
a trucker for 5 years, you can get your own company.
Mm-hmm.
Been a trucker for 2 or 3 years, something like that, to where a person has to work up to that, and then it opens up the door.
For sure.
I believe in that. But I don't
For
believe
sure.
in, oh, you never been in this industry, you can get you a trucking company. Hell yeah.
For sure.
That's what messes up the industry. But we need to start having stuff in like you gotta be a trucker for 3 years to be an owner operator. You gotta survive 3 years of this industry before you can open up the door. That's how you have a better industry, is by having these doors opening up. Because I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, if you have that, you ain't worried about illegal truckers coming in. You ain't worried about immigrants coming over here starting up trucking businesses, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't. They got to do
Mm-hmm.
that time of service.
Mm-hmm.
You have time of service now, that makes the industry better. Now you're looking at it like, okay, cool. So now if I'm an owner operator, I know I'm gonna make money because I'm not worried about Joe Blow coming off the couch, starting a company and competing with me.
For sure.
So I think hot take, I think deregulation killed trucking.
Oh,
Killed it.
hot take. Hot take.
I believe that it killed trucking because it opened up the door and made anybody become a business as fast as they want. It killed trucking. It should have just been regulation. But Jimmy Carter was a what?
A Democrat,
Democrat.
but there,
Hot take real quick. Democrats fucked up the trucking industry. There you go.
I got a
but
hat for you.
but
Hey,
Reagan. Let's do a little bit of back history. Reagan did bring up the conversation of deregulation, but Jimmy Carter signed it into effect.
Don't trust a Democratic trucker.
there you go.
Well, hold on. Reagan was Republican.
He
No, I'm
brought it
talking
up, but he
about
didn't sign it. There's a reason why he didn't sign it.
never trust a Democratic trucker.
All right, so I gotta get out of here, but let's end on a good note. Let's just give our 1 minute or whatever, so we can get out of here. Who
You
want
want
to
me to go first or CDL? You going first?
Go ahead. You got it, big dog.
preacher man?
You know I gotta leave you guys with a scripture of the day.
Okay. For sure.
It's we're in James 1 second chapter. Um, my brothers and sisters, think of all your various testing encounters of occasions of joy. After that, testing produces faith. Faith produces endurance, and endurance completes the work so that we may be mature and complete and lacking in nothing. Um, I reiterate that because I just think about the market we've been in. A lot of people who've stayed on the tree while the tree's been shooken. A lot of people who've been who've been misled, a lot of people who lost. I see people bouncing back with great endurance. I see the market rebounding. I see people still hungry. I see people running. I see people buying more trucks. I see people getting more contracts. I see these things because I insure them.
Mhm.
I see people getting hazmat contracts. I see people getting contracts with reefer. So listen, we went through a hard, tough time in the trucking industry. Was effed up, but we're on the backside. We're on the backside of better, and that's a good place to be.
Got you. For me, my last words would be just always remember that you have a great responsibility to the people. You're not bigger than the people. So if you have a platform out there, you have a responsibility to the people to keep it real and to always fight for them. And that's my last response.
Like it, truly. I'm always going to be a big proponent of learning what you're getting into. Learn this industry. It's not going nowhere. Think differently. Don't follow the crowd. Just because the crowd says one thing doesn't mean you have to say it. Have an opinion. Do
Yeah.
your understand what's going on in this, but don't fall into a crowd. My buddy John, he tells me he's an older cat. He said when you in the crowd, you're gonna get shit on because you in the crowd. If you in a crowd of cows, you guys are going forward, but you in the crowd. You're not in the front. You're in the crowd with them. What do cows do when they walk? They shit. So you're gonna be stepping in shit because of somebody else is in front of you because you in the crowd. Be apart from the crowd. Be an independent thinker. What I like about myself and what I like that people are gravitating towards us is because we don't follow the crowd. We have real conversations and we think things through, and we actually convert a lot of people because we're making them think different. But don't fall into the crowd, man. Protect this industry. All truckers protect the industry. There's ways you can protect the industry, but it starts with learning the game and then having a positive image. That's it, man. That's it.
I love it. I love it, fellas.
Great way to end it, brothers. This was a long one, man. It's 2 hours and about 45 minutes.
It's
I
2 hours. So we're gonna end it. Everybody,
I know it's gonna have a lot of clips.
man. Everybody, thank you for just, like I said again, following us and listening. Have your opinion. One thing about us, we respect your opinion.
Yes.
You ain't gotta follow what I say. You ain't gotta follow what CDL say. You ain't gotta follow what Alante say. But we value your opinion. But debate, a healthy debate, is what makes the industry better.
Yes.
Thank you for this. Is episode 12. Then it's gonna be episode 13. We'll keep this thing right. Thanks for the support. Gonna be a million clips from this one. And that's really it. Y'all stay blessed.
Great
Peace.
Fridays. Get the merch. Get the merch, y'all.
Yeah, the merch. Get the merch.
Oh yeah, the hats are selling like hotcakes too.
And it's getting there. We got
Yeah.
some more stuff too. We're gonna work on one of these safety vests.
Yeah.
Safety vest, yeah.
Conservative trucker in the red cap with the flag on the side. 45, 47, baby. We're going all the way there.
We're gonna have 45, 47 on the side.
Yes, sir.
Look, we're gonna get that for CDL. He gotta wear it. Please.
Why I gotta wear it?
Yeah, you gotta wear it.
Why I gotta wear it?
47.
He's gonna say Democrat trucker.
Now, see, I be trying to be quiet. Y'all are really bad influences on me. Y'all drag me into the bullshit. I be trying to be quiet.
Nah, Democrat trucker. I love Democrats. That's what.
No, I'm in the middle. I'm not a Democrat. I'm in the middle.
I'm messing with you.
I know he not, but I'm gonna give those hats away at the pride parade. Those Democrat truckers.
Oh, Lord. Y'all stupid. All right, I see y'all fellas,
man. I appreciate y'all. Everybody
out, man.
Tune in. Follow us on Instagram. We'll have everything down below. Appreciate you guys. We out. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.